Hey, party people, broadcasting from deep in the heart of Texas. It is now the 11th hour. Do you know where your reality is?
What you know about rolling down in the deep, 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 deep? What you know about rolling down in the deep, 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 deep? What you know about rolling down in the deep, 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 down in the down in the down in the down. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. She say that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G-O-D. Don't believe in T-H-U-T. She keep playing me dumb. I'm a player for fun. Y'all don't really know my mental. Let me give you the picture like this. Falling out in a drought. No flow rain was I'm pouring down. See that pain was all around. See my mode was kinda lounge. Didn't know which way to turn. Flow was cool, but I still feel burnt. Energy up, you can feel my surge. I'ma kill everything like this. What you know about? What you know about? What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can put them into freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Like, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can put them into freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the. Okay. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean.
All right, guys, what is up? I am your host with the most, Scara Performance, doing the solo thing tonight. Suso might pop on later. Fizzy wasn't feeling well, and I didn't even have the heart to even ask Noble to come on because I was starting so late. But if he's in there, I will definitely send out the link. I am, yeah, I'm, uh, I'm doing it all by myself. No more feminine energy to keep me bound up. No more Canadians to, you know, to make sure I don't go crazy and maybe jump off the edge. Yep, totally unadulterated scared performance tonight, all by myself, and no, it may not last. I may need backup. There's a reason why I have a crew because yeah, I don't I don't know if I'm ready to be running this thing all by myself because who knows where my mind will go, right? Anyway, I just wanted to play a little. I heard this song, listening to it on the way home one night, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. It's a good driving song." So I thought, I'm gonna put that on, just let everybody, get in the room. Put the broadcast up a little bit later than I should have, so notification wise, I'm sure it wasn't very good. So anyway, that's why we had a little intro music there, just hanging. It's late night. It's Friday night. Um, we've got a couple things to discuss. Obviously, all kinds of stuff in the news cycle. We've got the big CME coming at us. Apparently there's 6 of them. They're here to destroy the world. Well, I don't know about destroy the world. Maybe knock out. They've never done anything. I can't even get. You know, I can't even. I could never do like mainstream shit because I just can't keep a straight face and spew bullshit. Like I've lived through so many CMEs in my life and ain't nothing ever done nothing. I mean, I ain't. If it has, I certainly didn't know about it. Like maybe my internet dropped out or my radio got staticky or something. But I never, they always talk about, oh, CME is gonna get you. Now there's 6 of them, so I don't know, 6. We'll see some clips on that. I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think the big CME is gonna devastate us? Gonna send us back into the dark ages with no cell phones? Oh God. You that have children out there, that would just be terrifying for them, wouldn't it? I mean, can you imagine the world without the internet? Mm-mm-mm. What would you do? I'd be all right. I got books. I got fallback. I'm good. Others just fall up and die. Really, seriously. Mm, let's see here. We got oh boy, who we got in the chat, guys? This is a strange broadcast tonight. I can tell you. We got the Bear Lamb. We got the Beth Bromley, the Grand Tour Richard, the Cricket, the Juarez Funny Farm. Somebody else was there. I popped out. Let's see here. Ken Ross is also here. Rossum 1000. Um, hmm. There'll be more. Let me see. Only 30 right now. Hence why played the music. I'm sure Suso's gonna jump in here. He wanted to send a link. I think he wanted to do something on the phone while he was working. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. He's gonna sit there and he's gonna be broadcasting, or I'm gonna be broadcasting. He's gonna walk up to people with a phone. I can see what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a bunch of drunk people at the bar, and you know how that's gonna play out. JT, no, I have no fallback right now. JT, I mean, I kind of do. Maybe I could. Again, it's kind of like do I want to wake up the neighbors or do I not? And I've decided that I haven't gone solo in so long. So I was like, you know what, dude, I'm going solo all by myself. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I'll be good. Shit, it's fine. I just won't have anybody to bounce questions off of and tell any dad jokes to. Oh well. We can make it through a broadcast without a dad joke, can we? I hope so. Right, Cricket? Yeah, no joke. Man, I love watching. I don't know. I still watch guys build shit on YouTube, watch car videos, and yeah, it's quite amazing. Man, it's not like the days in the past where you just have these guys and there'll be something lack. It seems like nowadays, man, when independent shops build these cars, I mean, man, they are decked out. Um, I mean, I was watching something. They were building this engine. It was I guess it was I want to say it was a Toyota motor, 6-cylinder Toyota motor. It was a Z that's in a Supra. It was a smaller motor, like in a Corolla or something, like a smaller. And that thing was making like some crazy amount. Like these numbers are insane. I was like, my God. Anyway, it was cool. It was a little drift car they were building. Uh, really neat stuff. I've been watching some of that. Just helps pass the time by. I just like watching dudes, build shit. Kind of awesome. Um, let's see what else is going on here. Bear Lamb, you got to look at the new electric Cadillac. It looks like it's from the future. Okay, electric Cadillac, huh? All right, let's give it a shot. Yeah, I don't know how far those electric cars are gonna go, man. I mean, if things stay the course, which God, I hope they don't, everything probably will move toward all these electric vehicles. But if somebody else decides to win an election, I have a feeling that you're going to see electric cars kind of take a step back a bit. But like I get it, man. I would get an electric car if it was you know, just a putz around, like my city or something. If I didn't have to drive very far, I'd be cool with it. I mean, what the hell? Nothing wrong with it. Just keep it charged up. And if I'm not going to go anywhere further than like, say, a couple hundred miles, it'd be badass. Shit. I'd be okay with it. I mean, it's just, whatever. I don't dislike the things. Although I think Teslas are kind of ugly. Although some of them, I mean, they look okay in the back. Like when I see a Tesla in the back, there's that one, they have the one, I don't know which model it is. I'm not quite sure, but the one that's kind of wide, like a wide body Tesla. That thing was cool. The truck sucks. The truck's ugly as hell. Although I will say, I saw a video where they shot at it with real bullets, and damn, that shit is bulletproof. Up to about a 223, AR. That thing's just moving too fast. It ripped right through it. Yeah, 50 they shot. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, let's be honest. At some point, it just comes to the simple fact that people just want to shoot big guns at a car. So, like, obviously, the 223 bullet made it, the AR bullet. And then they were like, well, let's try the 50 cal. I'm like, okay, all right, all right. Now, you guys are just being dorks at this point. You just know goddamn well you just want to shoot the car with a 50 cal. That's just that's pretty much it. There's no chance that skin is going to protect anybody. Okay. Like the bullet's going right at the 50 cal. Okay. Like a Barrett. It's like, anything for views, right? Well, let's do it. I was like, well, 223 went through. What do we got? What we got, Jack? Got the 50 cal. All right. Let's try it. Let's do it. Cadillac electric. Oh, wait a minute. Electric Cadillac. Oh, let's see it. Looks like it's from the future. The Lyric? Is that the one? Huh. I wonder if that's the one you're talking about, sir. Let me see here. Oh, maybe this is it. Is it like an SUV, Bearland? Costs over $300,000 to buy. $300,000. That's another problem with these electric cars. Holy moly, these prices. It floods too much in Houston. Yeah, no doubt, man. Euler, are you down in Houston? Because let me tell you, man, if you are, I am so sorry. I hate Houston. Houston is the worst city. And it sucked like 20 years ago. It sucked. And it's just not any better. I mean, Houston's awful. I mean, oh God, I can't stand it. I mean, and their beach, what? Ugh, ugh. Gulf of Mexico is nasty. And all they got is like jellyfish in there ready to sting you. Forget about it. It's like you could say, well, at least we got the beach. Not much. Dude, that beach is gross. Seaweed and shit and trash and oily animals and oily fish. Like, I don't think so. It's kind of gross. And then it's hotter than hell. And then when it does rain, you're right. Like the city's below sea level. So it's like a bowl. It just fills up. It's just terrible. I can't. No, there's really no. I always think like, come on, man. There's gotta be something good. There's not. It is hot. It's humid. It's freaking awful. Then in the winter you get the rains and shit. So it's not that. I mean, it's no, it's shit. It's absolutely. It sucks. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of Texas cities are, in my opinion, I mean, DFW is like, yeah, it's flat as hell. There is not. I mean, it's hard to find a hill around here. It's ugly. Um, but damn, we got super highways everywhere, man. That's the one thing great about Dallas is like the infrastructure is phenomenal. Like if you need to get somewhere, ain't no problem. You jump. There's like you got 3 or 4 choices of super highway. You're just like, okay, well, I don't want to take that one. That one's kind of blocked up right now, rush hour. We'll just go here. You know, that's the cool thing. Now, unfortunately, there's like 9 million people here in our area. Well, whatever. That sucks. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be said. Dallas has good food, got great food. The weather is pretty much, I mean, yeah, okay. All right. I give it to you. The summer months are awful. Absolutely just dreadful. However, the rest I mean, most, let's say half to more than half of the time, it's not so bad. And, even if you get, like, sick of something for, like except summertime. Summertime, you're gonna get 3 months guaranteed, hotter than hell. But in the wintertime, man, it's like, "Oh, shit, man, we got some snow today. Tomorrow could be 70." It's like it's just all over the map. It's never constant. You don't get no seasons here. You got, like, 2, hot and everything else. Hey, Oiler, just whatever, man. Oh, you say Houston, dude? Come on, Oil. Let's really, man. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to bash on your city, bro. But seriously, dude, come on, man. Really, Houston's awful, bro. You might say Dallas sucked. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying Dallas is perfect, but damn, man. I mean, I can't think of one thing that's good. I'm really trying here. Like, God, there's gotta be something. Um, no. All right, man. Just get off your city, bro. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be picking. Um, yeah, you think the bugs in Dallas are bad? Beth, you think the bugs are bad? You should see the bugs in Houston. It's so funny, man. Like those Reddit forums where I was getting such a kick out of poor people moving here to Texas and not knowing about our flying, like it's a flying cockroach. I hate to say it's disgusting. And it's like 3 inches long. It's like this giant thing. So horrible. It's just so frightening. And for the longest time, I grew up knowing it was called water bug because it just sounds so cute. It just sounds so much nicer than knowing it's a cockroach. Even though I knew in the back of my mind that's a cockroach. I don't give a shit what people call that is a freaking roach. And it's just giant. It's like some prehistoric thing. I swear to God, it needs to be eradicated. But you can't kill. Well, you can kill them, but it they don't die easily, and they fly. Oh, it's just horrible. But yeah, and these poor people are moving in, from all over the world in here, and they get a glimpse of our bugs, and they move like lightning fast too. Like something that big moves that quick and flies. Yeah, I mean, the very thought that it's a cockroach is just too much to bear for most people. So we named it a water bug. And this is like I always say, like those mayflies, like whatever those things are, I Mandela effect for me because that shit just appeared one day, like 2008. Like one day there was these giant fucking mosquitoes. I mean, I swear to God, they look like a giant mosquito. And then I was thinking, like, what the hell? And then later on, when the Mandela effect hit, 8 years later, I started thinking about that. Like, dude, did I shift or something? Because like there was never those damn mayflies were never around. And I asked people about it. Like some people are like freaked out, like they're like, what are those things? And other people are like, oh yeah, we saw them all the time. I'm like, look, either we all saw them or we didn't. Um, yeah, the bugs are something else this year right now. Again, it's really humid right now. We're experiencing a lot of rain in other parts of Texas. We got a lot of flooding, so that's kind of crazy for some people. I'm not sure. Somebody asked me if I was doing all right. Actually, Lynn asked me, and yes, I am. I'm doing good. Hmm. I sent photos to the Book of Daniel. Okay, okay. All right, let me check it out. Like I said, we're solo tonight, so we just lay low, hang back. Oh, dude, and don't. Why did I do it? Do y'all ever get on Temu? I've never bought anything on Temu, but man, you would have thought I had. The amount of emails that I get from Temu every single day. They're just like, oh, you know what? You got something in your cart. You need to buy now. Dan, we give you 20% off. Dan, you're a lucky winner today. Buy now. All right. Maybe that's not the way they sound. I just figure they do because they're Asian. Is that racist? Yeah, that's probably racist. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, hurry now, buy now. Randy, buy now. I have not bought anything, but I swear to God. I logged in one time and looked at something, and now it's over. Dude, I got a team of like 10 emails a day. I'm the big winner on Temu. Almost sold out. That's right, Greg. Man. Right. So true. Um all right, I'm still waiting for the photos. Let me see, brother. I think it's probably taking a while because there's photographs and whatever. While we're waiting on photos, I will definitely check. Let's do this. We've got this one here. Let's hear about the CME. You down with CME? Yeah, you know me. Hold on, let's see here. I think it's just gonna be a huge nothing burger. I mean, whatever. Maybe it's gonna take 6 of them to actually do something. 'Cause certainly before when it was like 1, I'd always hear about like, "Oh my god, there's one heading for us." And then nothing. Like, see, I mean, you'd think as big as the sun is, it would just blast us all the time. But apparently, I guess we always just take glancing blows from this shit. Anyway, um, here we go. We'll watch. This is On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.
CMEs at the time of recording this, I would not be surprised if more are coming from the same sunspot group, sorry. And there was the most recent one's been the biggest thus far. Now, again, not trying to be scary or anything like that, but we do have a very weakened magnetic field. There were 6 halo events in a very short period of time. The first 2 have caught up to each other. Then there seems to be this lagging one, but we're still waiting on quote unquote the government to show us what the hell this actually means for all 6. This could actually be significant. So make sure your food and water, I mean, it might be too late. We'll see. The brunt of it, we don't know for sure. We'll play what we know. But the brunt of it, Friday night, Saturday morning, like I don't know. We don't know. Again, we're trusting the government to tell us the truth when things get crazy. So we're going to talk about that. I got Trump stuff. I've got some scary stuff at the border. I've got all sorts of stuff that's going to actually, 1, frustrate you, 2, there's some positive stuff in there. 3, I got a fun little game we're going to try to play. It's not necessarily going to be a normal thing, but anybody that's been watching my show for any length of time will be like, oh, yeah, totally. All right, I see where you're going with this. And we will be doing that very shortly. Now, I want to start with my good friend Ben. So many different names out there, right? Why does everyone have a different name? It's like these other languages. You ever noticed how other languages, I'm stealing a joke right now. Have you ever noticed how other languages, it's like they've got a different word for everything? Yeah. Crazy how that works. Here's my good friend, Ben Davidson, and he is talking about where we're at as of early this morning, and I'm sure he's going to do an update. If you guys follow him, I highly recommend it. I love this dude, and he even said he's been doing this for 14 years. I was kind of like, I bet I've been there for like 10 of that at least, maybe ish, whatever. Love this dude. Check him out.
Good morning, folks. We're at 6 powerful X-class solar flares that have released coronal mass ejections at the Earth. Our last 4 videos covered the first 4 and the start of the 5th, and here we'll break down the totality of the event, the solar storm forecast, and more. Let's start with a shot of the big sunspots. This is a massive sunspot group with considerable magnetic complexity. Many Earths could fit inside this beast, and it has been quite the producer in terms of solar flares. One of the most prolific solar flaring outbursts in my 14-year tenure of watching the sun. These 6 fired the plasma at Earth, including the biggest one this morning on the right side, an X3 blast. Here's where we left off last night. 4 full halo coronal mass ejections we knew were coming our way. These first 4 will begin impacting tonight according to the models, but with the margin of error, could begin any time now. Then, we also showed the 5th flare, another X-class event that appeared to release plasma, and while the coronagraphs were not fully updated last night, they are now. Another full halo event. That makes 5, all expected to hit Earth before the end of the weekend. Then this morning, the biggest yet, an X3 eruption that also has a coronal shockwave ripple indicating plasma release. It's still early, but the coronagraphs are keeping up. I see another full halo blast making 6 full halo eruptions in about 2 days. All will strike the Earth, but you may notice that Noah's Endel spiral hasn't changed from yesterday. They are still only showing the first couple events on here, but folks, a full halo blast is a full halo blast. And while some may merge, combining into shared impacts, all 6 are heading this way. As I said, impacts could begin at any time. They will continue through the next 2 to 2.5 days, and the geomagnetic storm conditions will last 4 or 5 days, and perhaps even a bit longer with the reverberations. This was our forecast probabilities for solar storm level that will be reached as of last night, but as we jump from 4 to 6 near certain impacts, percentages are going up. We have the highest marks I've ever given for major issues from solar storms, which we broke down in detail in last night's video. I am also upping the chances for these lesser impacts up to the solar kill shot level. Still not expecting us to have that global EMP level event, but with Earth's weakening magnetic field, this risk must be acknowledged. Speaking of which, NOAA came out and made a statement that this is the first level 4 extreme storm watch in almost 20 years, since 2005. This is newsworthy, but also a bit of self-snitching, since we've taken many since that time, including 3 this solar cycle and 1 already this year. I have to wonder if at any point they're going to catch on to how much more vulnerable our planet is with the magnetic pole shift ongoing, and how much higher the storm levels are reaching than they're expecting. Aurora could reach low latitudes this weekend, folks. Impact after impact coming. See last night's video for more detailed solar storm effect information, and we greatly appreciate your support. We're watching all day, and if any significant updates are needed, we'll bring.
All right, there you have it. The CME forecast there. Now, who's saying it? Cricket? No lights. All right, girl. Now, did you pay the light bill? That's my first question. I mean, or at least you need to start turning them on. I mean, I could say the same thing. I could go dark here myself and be like, I got no lights. But maybe you really did have a little CME hit there. I don't know. Could have been that, or it's hot where you're at. A brownout. You got blackout. power station went down. You know, I mean, could be a lot of things. Northern Lights. Oh, that'd be cool to see Northern Lights. Now that would be cool because I am way in Texas, right? And I don't know if we've ever seen Northern Lights here. Has there been an event recorded? There's probably been something in history back in like 1863. You know, there were Northern Lights reported in Texas. But yeah, that'd be cool. And some of these Northern Lights that I've seen, it's got to be some of it's got to obviously be the camera, you know, kind of enhancing these things. But damn, that shit looks cool. Also looks really cold though. Burr. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy the Northern Lights when it's like, you know, minus 20. Holy cow. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what's going on. I don't know. Big event, perhaps, or a big nothing burger. It is one of those things. Okay, let me go back here. I was supposed to check email. Wait a minute. I'm not seeing anything from you, sir. Did you send it to scarabperformance@gmail.com? Make sure. The Book of Daniel at Scarab Performance. Make sure, yeah, man, make sure you send it to the right email, sir. I don't know. Let me check. Let me check my oh wait. I see. Okay. Oh, that thing. Okay, I got you. Here we go. Huh. Right. There's that. Okay. I got you, buddy. Yeah, you sent it in the chat program. I was checking email. Okay. $300,000 for an electric car. I don't know, man. I'm still not convinced. You know, these things every once in a while, they go taking off on you. You know, you ever seen those Teslas going like 200 miles an hour down some little side street? It's like, oh shit. Like, it's not going to end well. And then they catch fire sometimes. I don't know, man. These cars do some weird things. Now, granted, it's usually just isolated things, right? But still, I don't think they got it exactly worked out the way they want. Okay, and then right here. All right, this is a car. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see. So since I got you on screen right here, there is the Cadillac right there. Kind of looks like a little station wagon, isn't it? A little hatchback. That's kind of cool. That's a badass looking caddy. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. And then interior wise, we have this picture. Okay. I'm sure it's nice. And then we have one more showing you what it looks like outside the window there. Let me blow this up a little bit. I'm already zooming. Okay. Well, there it is. You know, and I'm going to tell you, it kind of has that concept feel to it right now. I don't know if this thing says they're about to sell a $300,000 car. So, you know, is it really for sale or is it one of those still in the concept phase? I wonder. Here's one. I'll play this one. Dude, I don't know, man. He just stole this Lamborghini. So let's watch it and see. I got a couple like, man, everybody's running from the cops these days. Like they get pulled over and they're just like, I don't know, man. No one's got any. It's so lawless right now. In New York City, they showed like a bunch of Utes like up on the subway trains on the top of it, just like this shit's like this is crazy, dude. Like no one's doing anything to stop any of this crazy stuff, right? I don't know if it's a defunding of the police or whatever it is, or they've got other things to worry about, but like this is people just doing dumb shit right now. So anyway, this dude gets pulled over. Cop's like, hey man, this car's stolen. He's like, nah, dog, I rented it. But then he takes off, so it kind of appears I think he stole it. So I don't know how he stole the Lamborghini. Maybe he just drove it off the lot. You know, there's a story about me driving on a Porsche once off the lot. Let's not get into that right now. That's really for another day. But yeah, I did take a Porsche. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I stole it. I stole. See, I don't really think it was stealing because, in my opinion, I was securing the Porsche because someone who wanted to really do terrible things to the Porsche could have taken the Porsche, but I took it first because I cared. Okay, I only took the car because I wanted to care for it over the weekend, and I gave it back. So I borrowed the car technically, right? But hey, they left the keys in it. What the hell was I supposed to do? Walk away? What kind of dumb story is that? You know, one time I was at the Ferrari dealer and I walked into a Porsche and it had the keys. When I just walked away. I honestly took the car. This is no lie. I took the car not because I was a dick, because I seriously couldn't walk away from the story. Because I thought later in life, if I tell the story, how am I going to sound? I'm going to sound like a huge bitch. So I have to take the car. True. That's it. I swear to God, that's my mind. I was just like, well, I kind of have to take it now. I don't want to take it. Sort of have to. The keys are in it. Fuck it. Ain't no way around. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Nicest car I ever drove for a while. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right. So, dude, Lamborghini story. Let's watch this.
This vehicle that you're driving is stolen.
I rented this vehicle, so.
Okay, I need you to step out of the vehicle.
I rented this vehicle.
Okay, well, we need to double check and verify things, but I need you out of the vehicle in the meantime. It is stolen. Hey, stop!
Dugan lost control of the Lamborghini while traveling at a high rate of speed and collided with the center median and several trees along the median.
Units responding to Yolanda, Truman Way, 1083, requesting the unit code 100, 1 west of Yolanda with the spike strip.
Where's he going? 1047 pursuit is still on vehicle. It's going dispatch UTC. Vehicle STC on Sherman Way and then on the tower. He's got the inside the mess.
Let me have the frequency. Vehicle TC, major TC damage.
You have got to be the worst car thief ever. I mean, seriously, dude, you literally crashed a car going in a straight line. I mean, come on, man. You can't even make like that. That wasn't even a police chase. That lasted all like 2 minutes, if that, before you crashed the car. It was under a minute, man. You crashed the car. It just took them a while to get to you. But dude, come on, man. Good Lord. At least you could have crashed like, you know, going around a turn or something, make it look more dramatic. No, instead you just hit a tree. You're an idiot. He's probably dead, dude. Though. No lie. I mean, that car is wadded up. Damn. Anyway, there's that story. Also, Noble's with me. Let's see. I can send Noble a link. Let's see. 1 second, Noble. Let me get you a link, buddy. Like I said, it was so late, man. I didn't feel like bugging anybody. Oh, let's see. There you go. All right, bud. You got the link, man. Come on in. All right, let's see. Huh. You do. See, now in Texas, I'm going to tell you something. Seriously, people, anybody who is driven in, oh, hell, Houston's just as bad. To me, Houston drives, man, their drivers are even crazier than us. But no, seriously, in Dallas, oh my God. Whew, man, you've never seen drivers like this in speeds and the shit. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Like, you are literally driving on an average of at least 90 miles an hour a lot of times. And it's just normal. It's just like, I'm going 90. Like, and, like normal traffic speed, like, cars around you and everything. It's a trip, man. This place is nuts. All right, hold on a second. Let's bring Noble in. Yo, Nobo.
Hey, man. What's up?
Hey, man.
I wasn't sure if it was you or Fizzy.
Oh, shoot. Fizzy bowed out. She was saying she was she has the what you call it, the Krampus.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the clap.
No, it's another C, but yeah, she got the cramps. And
close.
I thought,
yeah,
I told her to take that menopause kid and see what that's gonna happen. So she won't have to deal with all that anymore, right? But yeah, so she ain't feeling too good. So I tried to call her, and yeah, she said she's going to bed early. So
yeah, I don't really know what it's like. I can't relate.
I can't really either, other than my normal male menstrual cycle that just makes me bitchy. I love how, well, you never heard of that? The girls like to say that men have their own. No, look that shit up. They actually think that's some scientific shit where men go through like their own. It's not really a menstrual.
There is a cycle of.
There's a cycle of.
Well, I don't know a cycle, but somewhat of a cycle of being interested in girls, let's say, or more than other times. And so there's ups and downs to that. So yeah, you're going to be pissy at one end or the other.
Well, whatever. I don't know if it's even true. I just know that they, the girls, they just can't handle. They love to like throw some shit down and say, "Oh, guys have it too," So that's just kind of the way it is, I guess. But yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, I don't know. You ask my ex-wife, she used to think for sure I had some sort of cycle going on. So maybe she's right. Yeah, man, I'm just throwing out clips. We were just watching the one about the CMEs that were coming in. I don't know if you saw that. 6 of them, apparently.
6 what?
X-class flares in a row, kind of coming right at the Earth. So that we might have.
I thought it was like solar flares, right? Northern lights.
Yeah. Coronal mass ejections.
Right.
Yeah. They said that they can disrupt radio and television signals and satellites and.
Yeah, I did catch it. I heard it's like the strongest in 160 something years. Or
yeah. They said it was pretty big. It's supposed to hit tonight sometime. That's what they're expecting. So I don't know, wherever, but I would think. I don't know how you would think maybe they could tell how fast these things were coming, and they could kind of tell us more of a definitive of where on the Earth it might hit. But I haven't heard that part. So anyway,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just pulling up news clips. Did you see this one? This was interesting because this is about Dave Chappelle, one of my favorite comedians. But Jim Brewer, he's kind of made a comeback in the last couple of years, and he kind of made some videos and about like during pandemic time, and yeah, man, he got pretty popular. Anyway, he's got some interesting shit to tell you about Chappelle and about what quote happened. Remember when he went to Africa and he wanted to get away from the deal that he signed with Comedy Central? Well, here's some more inside info on that.
He seemed all right after that. It was a while later he changed.
Yeah, but there was he's going to tell you some more. Later. Yeah, he'll tell you some more inside baseball though about what happened right before he left. So let's listen in.
Okay.
What happened between you two? Did you fall out? Or did you just go different ways?
No. We I think different ways, but I'll put something out there that I don't know if he. When we were filming we were filming the movie, and he also had a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
From HBO and or not HBO, Comedy Central and all
Comedy
this shit,
Central,
right?
the worst bunch of people on earth.
Horrid.
Mhm.
He then, while he was on the show, when it was blowing up, and we remember the Aspen Comedy Festival? I don't know.
Yeah, that was fun. I did that too.
He came there, and he was freaked out.
Yeah.
I said, "What's going on?" And all I could say is he was visited.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what I
shit.
think too.
And when he told me who visited him, my heart stops for a second. I'm
shit.
like, get the fuck. And I'll never forget. He went, "You believe me, right? You believe me, Jim, right?" And I could. He's like, they came to me, and he said the names. I'm like, get the fuck. And what happened? And then all of a sudden, he went to Africa.
Yeah, that's what I remember happening. But they never really said what happened. Was he threatened? I mean, I don't know how much you want
I don't have.
You can't.
That's none of my business.
Okay.
But I know for a fact
He was corrected.
he said correct.
Yeah.
He was, hey, by whoever it was.
Mhm.
Hey,
I wanna-
we need to have a conversation. Would you like some of your own coffee in your house? What? Yeah, like that heavy shit. And that's the first time, I would. It's it, and so when I saw him come back, there was a lot less communication, and maybe he just, maybe he just grows, whatever. But I can honestly say, and maybe I'm crazy and I am crazy for saying this.
Mhm.
When I saw him completely come back, I really questioned if that was him.
Yeah, I know, right? I think that's.
And I know that's really crazy.
I think those same things. Yeah.
I know that's crazy.
Oh, it's no crazier than that. Oh, the trains are going off the rails.
I tell you what, these fucking boats are running in.
All right. So first question is, who do you think he was corrected by?
Names that are somewhat known to some people at the very least, or probably most people. By the way, he's well. It's kind
Well, I
of
don't.
but
the
it
thing
must
is,
be
like,
names that most people would know of.
these are whoever it is like Jim Breuer's like, no fucking like it's almost like weird. Like, who would be so scary in the industry that they would be like
In
he
the
would be like,
industry, I assume
no.
it wasn't somebody in the industry at all.
Well, what I mean, it's not I
In
wonder if
his
it's been-
case, it could have been like freaking Obama,
weird,
or just like the Rothschilds. I doubt that.
or something like that. Kind of. That's what I'm thinking.
But I
Like
think
that
it
kind of
just.
high
I think
level.
they would use. I think they'd use Obama
Weird. Yeah. Why not?
because
Okay.
he's black for one.
Okay.
He
Interesting.
clearly is a powerful person to anybody in
Sure.
America. Like quite clearly.
Wow.
And obviously, this is pretty freaking high up, like pretty important. Like,
Yeah,
what
that
the
would
hell,
be
right?
something
Shocker
where I
value,
would. See, I'm trying to think what would make me go, no fucking way.
Your heart
Like,
stops.
who would it be?
Obama walks in,
Yeah.
and starts talking shit down to you. You'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"What
yeah.
the fuck?"
like how? Yeah. How deep does this really go?
Scary,
Wow.
strange.
And then he said what everyone was saying. It's funny. Now this is interesting because think about it. They know this guy. So it'd be like me and you knowing each other in real life. And then you go away for a while. You move to a different part of Canada, you come back. And I, people say, well, that doesn't seem like Noble anymore.
Yeah, that is.
And I'd be like, nah, dude, I know the guy. Back off. It's Noble. But these guys are saying they know him. These people know him. They worked with him. They've been around him. And they're saying he doesn't seem like the same. Dude, we've been saying that since he came back.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a
know?
point It seemed
Hmm.
like afterwards, because he was talking when he came back. He talked once about it, didn't he? Or he was
Well,
questioned about it, and then
yeah,
he kind of
he talked. He did
skipped
talk a
around the
little bit
answers a bit.
about what had happened right after he got back. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he was
but
all
then there
right
was a
then.
time where he just didn't have a gig for a while, and he was kind of off the radar. Then he came back. Remember, he was like super buff. He got a bit older, and kind of like some people were suggesting that, dude, he just looks like he got cloned or something. Like he didn't, there was that rumor going around. So it, I don't know how much further they mean, like when he got back, or but I'm thinking they're kind of suggesting the same thing. A lot of people were saying that, dude, that doesn't seem like Dave Chappelle. Another thing was weird too. So Dave used to be such a rebel. Like he always, like he was kind of like, he's very outspoken with certain things, certain topics. Then later on, I remember watching the specials when he started doing them down in Austin. He did one, and I mean, he was talking about homosexuality and stuff. And I don't know, this the way he just, sort of like, yeah, you're back, but you can tell you kind of sold out a little bit. Like that really wasn't his shtick. And then when he was kind of talking about it, you're kind of feeling like, dude, that's sort of like just, telling the world that you're down with all that. And so I don't know, it just didn't seem like the Dave Chappelle I remember, like being, I don't know. His jokes and stuff seemed a little more. Yeah, they were the same, but they were different. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of seemed like he had taken more of a softer edge on certain political topics that he didn't have before. Just some thoughts, but yeah,
I think
I don't
there's some MK Ultra stuff that's not cloning that can have a similar effect.
know.
Which
Yeah.
MK Ultra being, whether it being just brain molding and manipulating and washing, or if there's demonic possession involved, or maybe even not possession, but something else that will suck some life out of you, essentially. Scare the hell out of you as well.
Interesting. Let's see here. I'm just reading the comments.
I thought I was watching a Dave Chappelle just the other day, but I don't see it here. Funny though. Just looking, yesterday, day before, I was watching it was all the most extreme or shocking jokes that he's done over the years. It was great, actually. Anyhow, what's happening in the chat?
Well, Beach Countryside Mongoose said Jim Brewer becoming a truther comedian is comical in itself. Said the sellout took his stream down with Owen Benjamin. No, why would he do that?
Who?
What that was all about? Because Owen was going off about there's a certain group of people in the Middle East he really doesn't like, and he was probably talking some shit, and Brewer was probably chiming in a little bit, and they're a little bit too loose, and that's the line right there. You cannot ever criticize those people, especially if you're in the industry. So I wonder. I'm guessing, Beach. I don't know, but I'm betting because I know I've got a clip of Owen one night, I guess, having a couple too many beers and really going off about that stuff. So, and I kind of saved that one for some reason. I don't know why. I just was like, I gotta save this. This is interesting. Yeah. Well, let's see what else I got.
Sorry, man. Did you just finish saying something?
Yeah, man. I was just saying.
I was looking for the Dave video for you. Anyway, what's up?
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying, like, the one about Owen Benjamin. He'd gone off about his about certain people in Hollywood, a certain group of people, and he went off really big time one time after drinking a couple beers, and back when he was kind of popular for a while. He was doing his whatever, like podcast or whatever. And anyway, I don't know what's happened with him. I haven't heard much about Owen Benjamin in a long time. There was a time where he was
years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He seemed kind of chillish to me, you know. It's kind of
This is
weird.
some. I don't know where this. Let me look at where this was. This is interesting. A shooter appears to open fire on teenage boys rowing on a boys rowing team in in West Sacramento. What? This is nuts, man. What do you see this shit? Let me get a refresh on it. All right, here we go. All right. This is just like kind of scary. Boys are rowing. I'm part of a high school team, I think, or maybe college. I don't know. That's freaking stupid and dangerous, man. Golly. See what I'm saying, dude? Like, people just are nuts right now. Let's see. Here's a little bit. I thought this was crazy. Imagine being out in the ocean and imagine this shot that you get of a whale coming to the surface. It's pretty badass. Just the size of these things, man. It's amazing. Look at that thing. Holy
Damn.
shit.
That's so amazing. The amount
Isn't
of
it?
water moving. Yeah, like if you're there, the amount of water moving is just incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's not just a little splash. Like that's such an immense amount of tons of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was a cool capture. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me pause this. All right. Let's see. Here's something weird. You know, we've seen like the stuff over there at Boston Dynamics and the robots they're creating, and I don't know, man. There's so many. Like it looks to me a lot of the work that's being done for the replacement type robots. I think Boston Dynamics is making like killer type military style shit, right? But then there's people I guess in China, they're just pumping out these ones that are going to be kind of everyday robots for whatever, maybe to replace workers or whatnot. Anyway, here's a look at some of the technology involved in that. Thought it was interesting. Here we go.
At light speed overseas as our countries implode thanks to open borders and hyperinflation. It's looking like Westworld season 1 in China right now, and it's looking like the third world in America. But you need to pay attention because some serious robot wars are coming. AI versus AI, super AI versus super AI. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen, and it's about to spiral out of control. And most people are just totally unprepared for what's coming as they're trying to survive the Hunger Games. And that's literally the point. They don't want you surviving. What does this video look like? It looks like that CERN statue of destruction. And that's exactly what we're going to get with all of this technology. Mass destruction in ways that we can't even imagine. It's going to start looking like Terminator, The Matrix, Blade Runner before we know it. Predictive programming, to say the least. But this latest footage from this Chinese lab, X-Robot, is just beyond imagination. They've spared no expense. And we're going to get into some of the latest footage from that lab and many other labs. Of course, Elon Musk is rolling out his future Terminators, Optimus Prime. This is the first generation. But the next generation will be much faster, smarter, stronger. just like ChatGPT. It evolves with time, and it's only a matter of time before they start strapping weapons to these things. At first, they're being sold to us like home assistants, office assistants, friendly assistants. They're here to help you, like the government. All right? They're going to be using all of this technology to help us, not to lock us down, not to control us and to spy on us, or worse. But what we're going to discover is that these machines will be efficient at killing people in ways never seen before. Ladies and gentlemen. And this is just part of what we're up against. Again, we're hoping for med beds. We're hoping for Star Trek. But what we're going to get is Star Wars, an empire that's going to enslave not only the world, but literally the universe if we let it escape orbit. Once these things become self-aware and start reproducing themselves, it's only a matter of time before the Earth gets assimilated, the moon gets assimilated, Mars gets assimilated. You're probably thinking there is no Mars when you look at it through the telescope. Now check out this machine here. Not only is it doing mock repairs on future cyborgs, but this will be exactly the type of technology that'll be used to assimilate people with the brain chip. The Elon brain chip machine looks very similar. Can't imagine what the Chinese version looks like. Well, it's something like this. People will be going to the mall, and 15 minutes later, there'll be a cyborg. Instead of ear piercings, they're going to get the mark of the beast, the brain chip, on their hand, in their forehead. It's coming true, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. It's the pages of the Bible playing out before our very eyes, and we're going to get exactly what we deserve if we do nothing. But the Chinese labs look to be way ahead of the competition. And there are many other companies that are producing robots. And of course, they're pretty much state-sponsored, unlimited budgets. And it won't be long before they're replacing people, not just at work, but literally the politicians on TV. How long will it be before the president gets hot swapped by a robot? They've been talking about this for decades, organic robotoids. We've done quite a few videos.
So I keep thinking about what he's saying about that. There was this weird scene. I don't know if you caught that at all, Noble, like in 2020, right after the election, I guess. And it was right after Biden had been sworn in. It was like there was this strange video of them rolling out, like on a dolly, like a lifelike version of Biden. Okay, now it didn't move or nothing, but it was just weird. It was like, I think it was it was somewhere. It was like I want to say like the Lincoln Memorial or somewhere like that. But it was just weird how they had this lifelike thing of Biden and they were rolling it out there. And I remember it was kind of like later in the afternoon, like, why is this thing there? And I kept thinking like, okay. And like people said, well, geez, it looks like some sort of clone or replacement. It looked just like Biden, but it was like a stiffy, right? And then
This is at the White House?
it was at I want to see, it was like I believe it was really close to the time he was sworn in, either that day or maybe the next day. I think it was that day, man. No joke. It was just later in the day. And I remember seeing them show this clip, like, and it was weird. It was like they accidentally caught footage of this, and then somebody had posted it online, and they said,
Oh, it
"What the hell
wasn't
is that?"
intended necessarily.
It wasn't intended, but they rolled out. Yeah, they were rolling out like it was like
It wasn't Biden?
It was, well, it was Biden. It looked just like him, but it looked like it could have been one of these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm kind of like, wow, that's so bizarre. And I wonder, some people had said, well, maybe it's a clone of Biden. And then, of course, we've seen a lot of the silicone masks and stuff that people claim. We've seen Biden with this shit coming off his, neck, and how things don't look right, and like the makeup looks off or whatever, like he's wearing a mask. Not saying that he is one of these things, but I'm just saying, how far is the technology? This is what they're showing us, right?
Well, how about this then? What I think it could be considered is something in relation to a guy named Donald Marshall.
Oh,
Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
So it could have been a Biden body,
Hmm.
legit his chromosomes, but a copy. And so
Right.
they put him to sleep, right? Like, all right, you got to go. But his body's too old and brittle, so they knock him out with chemicals. They suck him
Marshall.
into the clone, so he's operating out of that.
That story with him. The thing is, like, he's still, I think, walking and talking. The only thing about that and with him is, like, his story was so out there that it almost made you wonder if it was true. Yeah.
Well, that's just
Because
it. I
it was
know
like-
they have
it was like-
technology that would blow our freaking minds. So yeah,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
Like
mean,
the Augie Dog guy, who knows what he's talking about that has some angle of
Yeah.
truth to some of it, right?
hmm
I think he was screwed with, but I think they showed him some shit too.
Yeah.
Probably lied to him about it a lot, but
Yeah. Oh, Augie Doggy. Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. It's funny. I left you a link for Donald Marshall. There was
Did
a
you?
YouTube there. Yeah, there's one with a maple leaf on it. And somebody in very recent times, it was weird. I went and Googled it. I was looking up for him, and someone downloaded a ton of it just within weeks and months of all the Donald Marshall's videos, a bunch
Oh.
of somebody else. It was like someone had it stored, right? And then they just dumped it on a new channel. And
Oh,
it came
wow.
up. Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard from him in a while now. You know who had some real close conversations with him was Jesse Spots. Jesse had
Right.
he had some interaction with Donald Marshall. Kind of strange. And I don't know, man. His stuff is, when you really get down to Donald Marshall, about how, he was cloned, and then, like, you're kind of trapped at the cloning center, and then there was some stuff about, remember the comedian that died? And supposedly, like, they killed him because they all know what goes on over there, and, like, it's some weird shit, like, but then again, it's not out of the realm of possibility if you consider, like, adrenochrome and what they do with kids, and some of the stuff that may or may not happen with Hillary Clinton, the story of Frazzle, what, and you hear these stories like, God dang, this is some evil, man. Like, holy shit. So is Donald Marshall's story somewhat true? Shit, who knows?
It's an interesting combination of things, right? That he
Yeah.
has. It isn't like, oh, there's cloning, they can clone, or oh, there's cloning centers and your consciousness gets sucked around when you fall asleep. And no, then there's the elite being there, a ring, freaking pedophile and murder stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then demons and alien stuff.
I think-
But it's all so smooth. It's like, it's kind of just is like, he does, man. I don't know. He's very believable. Initially, I can see why people would think he's just lying, because it's like he's kind of chilled about it.
Well,
Like it's
you
an
know what-
everyday thing. But
you know
then
what's
it's like
true-
you listen to it, you're like, holy jeez, I don't know if somebody's a good liar.
Well, he said some really outlandish shit. Like, it kind of goes back to that guy, like the time traveler guy. Remember that dude he was real famous. He was
John
on
Teeter.
John Teeter.
Oh,
John Teeter.
another guy, you mean?
Yeah,
that
what
went
I'm
to
saying is
public
John
event.
said some things that made you go, okay, dude, whatever. But his predictions and the way he kind of described things, like, he never held back. Like, he just allowed people, I mean, dude, like, okay, either this guy was like the most narcissistic storyteller ever, or, dude, there was something going on with him. Now, what was weird about Marshall, what I found, this is what kind of made me perk up. I listened to the whole thing for so long, and then one day I'm listening to this interview with him, and he's talking about how, oh yeah, they use my mind, and they use I wrote a bunch of rap songs and this and that. So then one day he's just there, and he just busts out some freestyle, And I'm like, and it was fucking good. Like, holy shit, maybe he could write some
trained,
lyrics,
and which
like,
means
you know,
well, it doesn't mean, but it does support his angle that he did it since he's been very young to make
Mhm.
up lyrics. Like he's got
Yeah.
practiced at it, right?
Yeah.
So he has a skill.
And then you're like, God damn, this guy's trapped in hell. You know, you got to, you know, you go when you sleep, you go back to that center and you experience. I was thinking that's a form of hell. You go to bed and you wake up and you wake up in this fucking hellish place where you're being tortured and fucked with. And then it's like, then I'm thinking, well, why didn't they just off him? Why didn't they go get him? You know, he couldn't be hiding that good. So, I mean, if they can pretty much, I think they can get to anybody, but I don't know. Just wondering, you know, like I kind of was waiting like to see, like, you remember the guy, what was it, Cappy? Isaac Cappy? Remember him? Remember
That
all
was
his shit?
dumb
And then
of him, honestly.
dude, what's that?
I say it was kind of dumb of him to go on the way he did and this frivolous running around as he did, and it was just like he had a death wish, man.
Well,
the way he did everything.
yeah, I know. Maybe it was just, I mean, like, what? I mean, to me, it seemed like Cappy had a lot of skeletons in the closet, and he knew, and he did things that he probably regretted. He probably partaked in a lot of that shit too. So then he realized like he had to have a come to Jesus moment in a way. So he goes to telling a story, but he died mysteriously, jumping on like, oh yeah, he jumped to his death from the bridge, right? And you're like, but that's the weird thing is like they could get to Cappy, but they couldn't get to Donald Marshall. Like, I don't know. So that makes me wonder, like, the
They
longer
definitely
Donald,
told them eventually they'll find you.
well, but it just makes me think, like, if Donald was really spilling the beans about some crazy shit, you would think they would just off the guy and just say that, oh yeah, he make it up as they go, you know, and say, well, you know,
He was saying that basically, like some of them were basically rooting for him because they're stuck in there and they're like born in it and shit. So not everybody wants to be there. They have no choice, right? Just like him, but they have to play the role. And they're still bad in ways, but I mean, not everybody bad likes shit and so horrible and whatever, you know, like. I don't know. Basically, it seemed like it was a case that it had to be like they're telling us essentially, and he was the person for that. He got chosen for that, which might be why he was alive all along, you know, or
Remember he
his memories back. He said he was given his memories back at 30 or 33, I think 30 or 35, something like that. And that's a common thing or something he went on about, but they might have gave him his memories back, or memories like when you're not in your own body, right? For him to be the vessel to tell everybody, because it's like, you know, they a little less karma for them or whatever the hell, you know.
His story, Donald's story, is one of those stories where I'm almost like wanting to not believe it because it's so horrendous and freaking like disturbing to me, because it's like it gets you in a point where it's like, I mean, think about it, man. It's your most vulnerable time when you're sleeping, and like it's like some crazy like Freddy Krueger but for real shit that's happening to this guy, and then you're just like, wow. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of the audience is well versed, or at least seen some Donald Marshall stuff. If you haven't, you know, you should definitely look into it, because it's
Bring up that YouTube and just scroll down the videos and see what's there. And they can.
Yeah, I see the part 1. We can play some Donald Marshall if you want.
You don't need to play some. You could a bit, but check out the. Did you see everything on that channel? I haven't actually looked at it in a week or two.
I see a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I see there's some Donald Marshall. There's some. Let's see, some other people here. I see a lot of Marshall. Let's see. Here's Tila Tequila.
Oh, yes, that's what I was gonna say. When he came out, she came out and said shit too, right? And that's kind of what it's trying to do. Actually, was figure out who talked first. I think it was him, and then she said something that supported him. It supported what he was saying about literally cloning centers, right? Using the same term.
She's also a cloning center girl, isn't she? I forgot about her. She was ousting Hollywood and law. I forgot she was in on the cloning center stuff. Now, is she still alive?
I think so, yeah.
She is, okay. Interesting.
But she went off for a little while.
Oh, Phil Schneider. Damn, this channel's got a bunch of the oldies but the goodies here. My
Yeah,
goodness.
and look when they were downloaded, some of them fairly recently.
Yeah. That's good. It's always good to have like a bunch of different stuff like this on just for prosperity's sake. They're pretty good. Okay. The Vril Lizards. Some Schneider. That's some classic shit. Let's see.
You know, I didn't like him a lot. I didn't know what to think of him. I was very 50-50 with him. And that's when I was really on a whole UFO bit.
Yeah.
Or alien bit like ages ago.
Right.
Still pretty 50-50 on that guy. It sounded so outlandish too, right? I think that was part of that. Like, what? These aliens, like, with bodies underground and like
underground,
like the freaking Care Bears, and they burnt you with their belly.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got him with some
and
sort of
that's why you're missing
ray.
your arm. That's messed up.
Well, that was the thing, right? They opened him up and they filleted his ass, and then like that was the story. And it's like, what the fuck?
They opened
But
him
then you're
up.
like,
You're saying that
man,
they operated on him? I didn't hear that.
no, they no. Remember, he was down there, and he was a geologist, and the story was his dad was a paperclip dude, so he was kind of born into that whole thing, and so then he went on to become a geologist, and he was doing the underground tunnels. He was talking about the maglev trains and stuff that we've all kind of wondered about, like they probably do have that shit. And anyway, he went down to that area where they were digging or doing the tunneling, and they tunneled into a freaking some sort of gray alien base. But there's different variations of them. These particular ones are very hostile, and he said that they hit him with some sort of ray that melted his fingers and opened him up. He almost died. Now he has the scars to prove it, but we don't really know where those scars came from. So, just saying. And like he did have a lot of stuff that he brought to the UFO conferences that you could hold and touch and see. Talked about what this was, what that was, and I mean, when I watched it, I was like, damn. The only thing is, I wish I would have actually got a chance to hold some of that stuff and look at it. I don't know. Yeah, some of the most, but he died mysteriously. Catheter around the neck, and they said it was a suicide. So there's that. Yeah, there's a couple of them UFO people.
That woman that was talking.
A woman. Yeah.
Humans and military being involved with UFO.
Yes.
Abductions.
That was the first. She was the first one. Absolutely, with a fast acting cancer. I mean, like liver cancer diagnosed. Yeah, like a month later died, kind of thing. Like, kind of like they did when they took out what's his name, Eazy-E. Like how he died so fast from quote AIDS, right? Like he just all of a sudden dude's dead. Like it was fast, dude. He died in a month. And that chick, she was the first one to equate our military being involved with the aliens, like in a way that she had done all this, like she was she could like hypnotize people, and that she would get their stories, and they were always talking about how there was this strange presence of a military type person there along with the aliens, and there was a hybrid breeding program going on and all this shit, and you're like, what in the fuck? And so and this was early on, so then other people started kind of incorporating her stuff as well, but she was the first one to kind of, in my opinion, talk about it. Now maybe there are books that were written or something that I didn't read about that stuff, but to me she was really interesting, and she was a Texas gal, hot, fiery little gal, man, and she just wouldn't take no for an answer, and she wasn't afraid, and her family was threatened, and she had all these stories. It was quite incredible what she went through, and died. So I don't know, man. I wondered about that myself, about her. What was her name? I want to say it wasn't Julie. It was dang it. I can try and remember. It will come to me in a little bit. I want to say I want to say it was like, I thought it was Julia, just something. Anyway, all right. So yeah, it's a pretty cool channel, man. A lot of Donald Marshall interviews, but you know what's funny, man? Is like he really hasn't spoken much, has he? Like nothing really new. These are things I think I've seen.
Well, at the
I
very
wonder.
least, he tried and wasn't, huge.
Yeah, right,
So
right. Sure,
I
sure.
could see him just giving up as a possibility
Hmm.
and wanting to get away from it. I mean, think about it. If it is true, are you just going to keep going on and on forever?
Right.
When no one's really listening and most people are
Mhm.
laughing at you? Why bother?
Sure. Yeah, you just sort of say your piece with it and go. I mean, you can't. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to tell the same story over and over. I mean, you pretty much have said everything.
Right.
That was the thing about Augie Doggy that drove me crazy. 'Cause he just never shared anything new. He would just repeat the same shit. Drove
I
me
thought you were
nuts.
going to say he just never really shut up.
Well, man, he'd always come out and he's like, he just kind of repeat. He was a repeater. It's the same story over and over. It's just like listening to Russian vids. Like
He
you
had a
go.
few, but was the same stuff. I mean, he only had so
It
much.
was.
One of the things that he had said, which is some of the information I'd stored long term, sort of, that I could use when trying to figure out things with Mandela effect and reality, right? He had said that they had the technology. There's a lot of different technological things he had mentioned, which was what made it the most interesting to me, honestly. They had a technology that they could shoot a movie and project it into the past and change the past, like a movie. Like actually, they would make a movie. So you'd have props. You'd have like a set, and you'd have actors. But they would
That's like Man in
broadcast
the
it
High
into
Castle kind of shit.
But they would broadcast it into the past and change the
Yeah.
past. Did I say the future the first time? Hope not.
I think so.
Yeah, they could broadcast it into the past and change the past. This is what he said.
Which would change the future.
It changed everything.
Right.
So
the timeline
just
would
like time traveling. Although in this case, it's literally a fabricated movie set, which is a weird thing, right? Okay, so how does that work out, right? Because if you change the past, like, are you really changing the past, or are you just making it look like you're changing the past, right? And that's the thing, and that's what I think it could be, something more like that. To us, you'd be changing the past, but it could be it's be more like a Mandela effect thing, right? Somehow it's integrated with some capability of whatever.
Maybe the universe is like a disc, man, like a record player,
or inserting some information into reality is the way I would look at it. And the old information isn't gone. It would just be not as strong as this. This is newer and stronger, but at the same spot, like almost something you tune into, right? At that moment in time and location. The past would still be there, but the information.
What if everything is like? What if
so
everything?
Go ahead. Yep.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say the key difference is that he's saying that the past has actually changed. I'm saying it's not the past. Change just seems like it, right? That's what I think it is. But they told him that they're changing the past. But I don't think you can. I don't think they are. It's just the information. They inserted it in. And the one I think they did it with is JFK. I think that Mandela effect is like legit. Like it's fabricated.
Oh yeah.
like not just in some sort of weird reality way. That's somewhat naturalish effect. And whatever. No, the details is then like could have been maybe not a movie set, but something close, right? Something fabricated visually, because that's what it is. It's a film, right? It's like you could say it really happened. Well, actually, we never really watched it really happen. We only watched the JFK film, right? So it's a little bit easier to get away with. I'd say a little bit easier to fabricate something that would work. But why would they fabricate 4 seats? I don't even know. Maybe it's screwed up on them. I don't even know. Anyway, go on. I'm lost.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, that's, I was just thinking while you were saying that, I was like, what if like, as like just say we started more in this wherever Earth started in the galaxy, right? And as Earth moved through the galaxy, it's kind of like a needle on a record player, and everything's but this record is recording all events that happen because it's all energy. And what if you were able to like to go move the needle back and you know experience that time again because it never really disappeared.
That's
It's been
interesting.
recorded. Yeah.
So
And
I
it's
would
kind of
say
funny
if
how we
something
were
like
at
that
the
was
remember
possible, you'd make a
we
new line. Like it wouldn't be the same likely
right.
the next time
But
around.
well maybe. And so then I thought, you know, if you think about Mandela where we were in 2016, many will claim that, you know, we've seen at least, you know, the conception of our galaxy and where we were in it. We were at the end of the record. And now we've sort of
Oh,
been kind
right.
of
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
does seem to me, I get the feel that there was a big leap in time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a part of it. Yeah, the position in the galaxy. And I don't know
Right.
if a leap in time is the proper way to express it, but from our perspective, that's what it would be. You know, seems like possible. Yeah, but you're saying that maybe it moved into the past.
Yeah, I'm saying
We're the
that
past position in a sense.
or we just yeah, and you know, I'm not
Maybe we're
quite
all in it.
sure the movement. Obviously, it's a different spot. It looks different. Even the conceptual art, the artist's conception of the galaxy looks different.
Oh, you're right. The galaxy
Everything.
totally looks different. It's a 2-arm galaxy now.
Yeah.
Before it was like
Right.
a 4 or more. Like, what
Or
is
it
this
kind of
thing?
looked more like a disc, you know. I'd say like it was more flattened
Now
out.
the arms are more defined now as
Defined,
well.
yeah.
Is that what you're
Yep.
saying?
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It was more, flattened out and smooth looking overall. Not entirely, but more so.
Yeah. It's a strange life and everything's really strange, isn't it? When you think about it, man, like every day we wake up and, you know,
Something
we
strange.
experience this world and it's just, you know, I don't know. I find myself, you know, struggling sometimes to just take it as serious as everyone else. You know, I just, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I try to find things I enjoy with it and, you know, try to, you know, stay involved. I think that it's important that you do find some happiness in this life. Otherwise, it becomes a very sad place. And you know, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be like immersed in that sort of depression. As much as we've sort of experienced and we've sort of uncovered as far as our walk since the Mandela effect, I still think it's important to interact in life. I know for a long time I just didn't, you know, I pieced out. I think you didn't. Many of us didn't, and I mean, you know, at some point we had to sort of get up and do something else and sort of reconnect to the best we could. But I still find myself, you know, feeling like quite like the alien here, but not as much as I used to.
Exactly. And you know what?
Yeah.
I was just thinking that today, that how much, you get into work, the life of work and your daily routines and
Mhm.
interacting with the people of the world, which are just like whatever, oblivious to what probably reality is, or that reality is something more than whatever the hell they're doing or thinking. And from my perspective and the way I see it and would think of it, because I was raised in such a way, as being more of the world. And I just find myself, like shit. I'm just like, I feel so much of the world. Not that I'm going out in any society freaking, no social gatherings or nothing, but just life. It doesn't matter. You're going to the store, you're at work. I mean, I do work, and then there's all different people and places that I got to go. So companies and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like or what I guess what I'm getting to is I kind of forget how it is to think like pure Mandela effect, like, and in ways it's not Mandela effect, but in a way that reality is obviously there's a whole lot more here going on, right?
Sure.
And then to be focused on the ridiculous physicality of the world.
Well, you know, I find it
and
funny,
even
like
your own
how
like wants and loves and whatever.
Yeah.
And anyhow, yeah.
Sure. And I think too, you know, when I sort of interact in the world. I find myself sometimes, um, yeah, I guess I'm saying I fake it till I make it. Um, because people have concerns or whatever, and I'm in a hospitality type environment where it's important that I listen to everybody's concern with equal, you know, I guess an equal ear. I don't, and that's the thing. It's hard because you hear stuff that, like if I was like immersed in my Mandela world, I would like literally be like, oh my God, you are so complaining about what? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
able to relate. And now I find myself, just, going through the motions and taking care and doing my job and being quite good at it actually. I mean, because I just, I'm a person who now I think just with my life's experiences can just really see a huge much bigger picture than most people when it comes to just the everyday duties that I have to do. And I can, you know, um I don't know, man. I'm just so much cooler than like I remember for an example, like, I have a couple people that I have about 10 people under me, right? And I have a few guys that, and you can tell they really don't like me because I'm younger, or they think I should have never got my position because I didn't know anything about it. I had never done it before. So they were really pissed and they've just never gotten over it. And the other day I had this interaction with one of my um coworkers, and he basically just like laid it all out there and told me how much he thinks I suck and everything else. And I thought about, like, my first thought, you hear this like, your dad should have pulled out, that kind of stuff. It was kind of rough. So he's telling me all this, and I'm looking, and I just was like, my first reaction used to have been would been, to say something back like, you listen here, I'll tell you what, I started thinking like, dude, just it's not even it's no big deal. Okay, he feels this way. There's nothing I'm gonna say that's gonna change his mind, go make him like, I know what he is. He's like, oh, literally like an NPC. I know I don't like to use that term with people. I feel that's degrading, but it's just like I didn't want to be on that level. So all I just said is, hey man, why don't you tell me how you really feel? Just get it out. And you know what? He just laughed and I just laughed and I was just like, dude, it's no big deal. Like, but I could see how a younger version of me, a couple years before
You're
Mandela,
gonna
I would
start
have been
fighting
ready to
fire with
fight.
fire.
Yeah, because yeah, I'd fight fire with fire. And I've learned that you just approach it with, dude, you realize at the end of the day, like I have to pretend and always, have a attitude that I do care, but inside, I really know what's going on, and I kind of feel like, all of this is just, at the end of it, like at the very, very end of it, my last breath, none of this really means anything. You know, it is important to always, uh especially like with work related stuff. Now, if you're talking relationship stuff, now that's important because that carries on into the next life. And I think that's important to build good, solid relationships with somebody. If you can find somebody, if you're lucky enough to find somebody in this world that you can walk in it with, I think that's a beautiful thing. But as far as like work and worried about this and worried about how I'm perceived, or, like trying to kind of hold some sort of legacy about, whatever, like I just, I know that at the end of the day, if I leave this place, everyone would, no one would remember me in about a month. You know what I'm saying? Life would move on. Okay. So my time, in my experience in what I'm doing, I just try to do it best of my ability, and I try to, make sure I'm taking care of the people I'm supposed to take care of, and just do the best I can, and that's it. And
I think
and
I always
yeah,
sort of felt that the all the stuff is going to come back. Like there'll be a day down the road, maybe not our lifetime, maybe not even for a couple, but this is all recorded now, right?
hmm
and people look back looking for Mandela effect and be like, because something will happen, right?
Right.
I mean, it's almost inevitable, I would think. It seems to be. I mean, how can't it be inevitable? Unless we all get plugged into machines. That's a possibility. They just hide reality from us.
Right.
That's the only possibility.
And that may be that could be a possibility in the future. You never know. But I think you're right. I think that I've always thought that whatever we're doing now was for a future generation. I don't think that what we have done in our, you know, discussions about it and everything, that we did our part. We put it out there. You know what I'm saying? We put it into that ethereal record that this happened, that there were people out there. Now, whether we, um, you know, we reached as many people as we were supposed to or whatever, I think that enough has been said and enough energy has gone into it that I think it will matter at some point. Or maybe it matters to a point where it's already changed in the future and we succeeded somewhere. You know, we'll never see it. But just based off, you know, what we did, it translates into the future, into a future generation and a mindset where people, I would say the young, especially the younger people, they're really hip to the Mandela effect and completely believe it. It's the ones that are the older people that seem to have more of a problem with it. So it's kind of interesting that the younger people are really, now they may not experience it, but they completely get it. And it's interesting that they get it so much so than people our age, you know? So like I said,
They're a
it's
little
for a
less
future
sort of
generation.
indoctrinated in a way. I don't know if that's the term because they are indoctrinated in other ways, but they grew up like reconsidering everything they're told because everyone's always telling them everyone else is lying, everything's wrong, or whatever, you know. So just our parents were not. We watched the news, you know. People weren't like the news is full of shit. We never
Right.
heard that in our lives growing up
Yeah.
younger.
Oh,
So they
seriously,
grew
so
up
in
with a whole
chat.
different mindset now.
Yeah, well, it's just weird because they're just so more accepting of it. Like what I find interesting about them is people that like I would say a little younger than me, a little bit older. You know, when I bring it up, it's they quickly dismiss it. But what I've seen from the younger generation, maybe millennials or maybe Zillennials, they seem to at least accept the concept of a reality that is not as static as it would appear to be, right? And I find that to be really refreshing that we may not see it out in the way, you know, you guys grew up or whatever, or your work ethic or this and that, but at least like you could talk to younger people and they would definitely listen to you a lot better than say like a good friend would, you know, um, most of the time. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I definitely think that you know there was a purpose for that. There was a purpose why only a handful of us seem to really. Why? That's a big question. Why didn't those people in the beginning? Remember in the beginning of it when it was hot? Okay,
Huge amount of
it was
people.
the biggest thing on the internet for a minute. Why wasn't those people like just? Was it just too much for people just to kind of really grasp as far as the whole conceptual idea that reality is malleable? What why did we stay in it so long? Like to us, it was the most important fucking thing ever. You know, it mattered. Whatever, you know,
Yeah.
when I began doing
There's
this,
a bunch of people that it did matter as well, but they couldn't continue.
yeah.
They
I think there
had
were
to
those
they had to
people.
turn
Yeah.
away to live a
Yeah.
life, like a massive amount. They're very intelligent, very competent people, and very centered in their thoughts and their perception of everything, like smart, you know, like they're there and they're like, well, whatever. And then some have kids, husbands and wives, and families that they don't want them to think they're crazy for the rest of their life. So
Yeah.
taught them
Yeah.
how to move on.
Well, I think there were those people too, and then there was those people that saw it hated it, moved on, you know.
Yep.
But they didn't move on because they just realized they had to focus on their kids, or they had an important job, or there's a lot of reasons why, and I get it. This wasn't for everybody. I mean, I had to literally quit life to do this. You had to quit life to do this. I had to literally lose everything that I had worked for, my business, my house. I lost everything to do this. But I felt it was like so important. Like, never in my life, dude, have I
Good way.
ever experienced anything that made me think that this is fucking important, not to me, but humanity itself. I was willing to say, you know what? God dang it. This is so important. I don't give a shit about the reality or the physical world, the material. I didn't care anymore. It needed to be said. And I didn't care. And I would tell you, the first video I did care, because I woke up, literally in cold sweats, like, what did I just do? And
What,
I
you mean
went to
after you
the
fell asleep?
well, I was scared that I just made a fool out of myself to the entire world. But as I read the comments, there were all these people that were like, "Oh my God, he's right. I agree with him. What the hell's going on?" And so then I was like, "I'm on to something here,"
Was
because
that your pyramid video?
yeah, the pyramid. And that was the first time I ever even did anything like that online,
I
right?
found you very shortly afterwards. You only had
Yeah.
a few more videos than that.
Yeah. And you were doing stuff, and then Scotty reached out to me, and then slowly but surely, the crew sort
I
of came
probably
together.
wouldn't have if it wasn't for the geography stuff, because I knew what I knew, and not a lot of people know that information.
Yep. Well, we all kind of brought our own niche. We all had kind of a niche.
Sure.
I had a
Well,
I had a niche
everybody,
with,
yeah, has different
you know,
memories and knowledge.
Sure. And you were more solid on the geographical stuff, as well as JFK. It was your big one. Me, it was the pyramids, because, dude, I so researched that my whole life, and I was sure it was a Mandela, and why it was a Mandela. So yeah, I think that sort of almost feels like we were, in a weird way, and I don't mean this to sound any way with it, but it really was strange how everything came together, and almost kind of felt like, I sort of was like, the people around me and all of us, like, at least the ones that decided to really put their, just throw down the gauntlet about it. It appears that it feels like that we were kind of selected in some way. But I don't mean that in any way. I'm just saying there were those people that I had an opportunity to do what I needed to do. I did it. Noble did it. Noble pieced out on life for a while. You went back to live at home. So that gave you an opportunity to not worry about bills, and you could just focus on your work with this. I did the same thing, although I kind of let things just go and just didn't care. And as soon as it was over, kind of, as the Mandela started to wind down, as soon as I decided that, okay, it's time to go get back into life, well, things just kind of worked out. And it did the same for you. If you remember, you hadn't worked in a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was no problem finding a job and getting back on your feet. And
Yeah, I only
it
had to
wasn't
move across the
easy.
country.
Yeah, you did.
Lived with
You
my
did.
man for a month.
True. You did. No, I'm not saying it wasn't
Pretty
easy.
freaking epic.
Of course, but but you
In a
didn't
world
die.
that
You
I
didn't freeze
hardly
to death.
could even perceive anymore or interact with anymore. Wasn't
Yeah.
that bad. Obviously, I can communicate just fine, but not feeling too comfortable in the world. I hadn't been in it for so long.
Oh no, totally. It was weird. I think I went back to just my roots. I like went up to the Nissan house, and I walked in there, and I remember, like, I knew I was going to get a job. Like, before, I wasn't sure if they were going to select me, whatever. I tried, I did try to work, but dude, it was weird. There was always these weird blocks that just kept me from getting anywhere. It's like I really had no choice. And when I was trying to work in my shop and keep that running, uh, I'm sorry, man. I don't know how to tell people this. I feel bad, like that I never really there were some things I never finished, projects I never finished, cars I was working on that I couldn't work on them anymore. I don't know how to explain it. I literally would go to work and feel all the energy drained out of me, like I couldn't do the job anymore. And I'd been doing this my whole life. It was the strangest freaking time I've ever lived in. The world was so different. Everything was changing. Uh, Spiritual stuff was happening. But I honestly couldn't do it. And it kills me to think that I don't even know why that happened. But then I just chalk it up as to a higher power. That had to be coming from something else that was, you know, guiding some of us in a certain direction, to do what we had to do. That's the only way this makes sense. Because it just, I don't know, Noel. It's just weird.
Oh, I think
I
we agreed to do it. Actually, I kind of know we did.
Yeah. We well, I'll tell you this, man. As bad as all that was, as bad as losing everything and having my life literally turned upside down over this stuff, I'd do it again,
Oh
100%.
yeah, there's absolutely no question. It's
I'd
still
do it
to this
again.
day, obviously, it's still can't even believe what has gone down. You know, of course you do it again. It's still without question. It remains that way. Obviously, the remaining decades of our life is fairly irrelevant compared to what already happened.
Yeah.
That was the more important part that I had to live, clearly. At least
Yeah.
up to this point that I know of,
How is
I
your
kind of hope
job?
so.
How is your job right now? Are you doing okay with it?
Yeah. I work with
Are
a
you?
guy that's it's his own, the business is under his name, so we just get jobs. But he's been doing it a long time, and he's a master electrician. We get a lot of companies and shops that have PLC systems and machines, and they break down, and like, who fixes them, right? You need people that can figure it out. So he'd been doing that a bit. I come from electronics, so in some sense, once I know what's going on, I know it too. Do you know what I mean? PLC systems? They're
Yeah.
like,
PLC.
yeah,
You
like
bet.
automated machines or partially
Absolutely.
automated, or machines with
That's
buttons, start and stop buttons and some lights, and it does that thing, whatever.
Yeah, we used to design PLC systems when I was doing the engineering stuff for the Japanese company. We built our own check, so what we were doing is building a lot of machines that were checking the parts, and it would pressurize and do this, and then it would it would typically it would read out on different gauges and have a go no go type light if there was a problem, and you would check like so many parts at one time. Like we would design the jigs and fixtures, and that's what my job was, is like literally designing and catting up the jigs and the fixtures for the machines to run down the assembly line, and also to try to take an assembly line and see if I could enhance its performance. So that was kind of interesting. The only problem was is like after a while, you had the lines running and you did all you could do and you've done all your checks and you've got everything certified, you're making the parts. After that, you're just sort of going to work and checking in. It sort of sucks because you're just bored. And that's why I just decided to walk away and open my own business with a shop. Even though I've never technically been a quote mechanic, I had just worked on cars and I thought, well, I just think I could do a good. I just thought I was good at it. So I was like, what the hell? If I'm going to start a business, I might as well start something I think I'm good at, instead of like, winging it on some other. My friend wanted to do something with nanotechnology. And I was like, okay, dude, I don't know anything. Like, it sounds cool and everything, but what do you exactly want to do with it? Like, what are we going to take this I'm glad I didn't go that route, but yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of how, but I know you're talking about the PLC systems. Those are, yeah, we used to program a lot of machines with that stuff. It's pretty
Jumping
cool.
back for a moment.
Yeah.
You know what else the situation could be, or in large part the situation could be for people seeing and being affected by the Mandela effect and whatever, like to the extreme, like us. It could be part of a learning process because it was massively shocking, right? It was quite pretty much interesting and near scary what some of us had to go through to perceive what's going on and accept it as the case, as truth, right? Because like the implications of that is pretty freaking shocking, clearly. So, but that was like an experience. Unlike one, if it happened again, it's not going to be as bad. Like, you just kind of, okay, something's not what it was, right? But if some other, if more things happened in the future, maybe even a different lifetime for all I know, I don't know, but maybe we'd be able to handle it better. Whereas your average person in society would lose their mind and drop to their knees and who knows, cry.
I've always said this myself, but I guess I've never really asked anybody else. Did you ever feel at some point in your life that something was going to happen that was going to be very important that you were going to have to step up and do? Did you ever feel in the back of your mind that there's just something coming that I'm going to be involved in? Did you ever have that feeling or thought, or
well, I do, but I don't necessarily think it has to be, or I don't assume that it's within this lifetime. I think there's spiritual battles that may almost take place on this in a non-physical level. I don't know, or maybe another physical life some other point.
Oh wow, that's weird. I was hoping that because I mean, when I was, and that's why I got into looking at all this stuff. I was kind of waiting for the big moment that I was
I see what
supposed
you're
to.
saying. You
Like
mean all your
I
life?
kind of felt like I
Mandela
needed to
effect?
sort of talk one day about something. And the weird part was I was looking at all the conspiracies. Wait, UFO. I did the UFO thing, and and the only reason I was really interested is because I just felt like I was trying to find my niche somewhere, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just knew that there was something wrong with the world that I needed to that I was going to need to be outspoken about. But it felt like it was going to be a bigger deal than just, oh, I'm going to tell my family and friends. It seemed to me like I knew that it was at some point there was going to be a time where I'm going to have to step up and put my big boy pants on and sort of, you know, in a way, be more vocal and uh, be more of a leader. And I'm going to have to take on this role. Now, I didn't know what it was, but I will tell you, this is God's honest truth. Like prior to the Mandela effect, maybe a month, 2, 3, I was sitting there and I'm just thinking, like, I remember wondering, I was thinking, well, now I'm getting older and, I'm in my 40s and I'm thinking, when is that event supposed to happen? When am I supposed to? There's going to be something. And I just knew that I would know exactly what it was, that there's no doubt. It would be no doubt. There's going to be a point where, and I think what I thought was that all the stuff I've been watching about, I guess I'd sort of started to break through the idea that the world isn't exactly what it is. And, that I thought maybe I was going to help people in some way, kind of wake up and come to the conclusion that, okay, here's what we're dealing with here. We've got this over here, we got that over there. And this is what I've been, kind of like, I guess in school for about 20 years. And so, yeah, I was waiting for that. And I thought it was going to be more like that, like, a situation where people go, holy shit, you know, I think fucking 7-foot lizards are running the government. Like, yeah, I can talk about that, like then I'd be the guy like to, sort of, kind of give people the lowdown on what I know about 7-foot lizards running our government. But then it was Mandela effect. It just wasn't, and I thought it was going to be flat Earth. Because I at first I was like holy shit, this is big. There could be like, oh shit, this is biblical shit. Like, okay, now I'm perked up. Like, man, hey, what if none of this shit we've been lied to about? Of course, I get it. There's always truth amongst some of the BS. But yeah, that's what I thought, man. It's weird. Anyway, I just
It was
wanted
a
to,
case. It was a case for me with the Mandela effect,
yeah,
and then actually two aspects to it. Well, kind of, because all my life I was like, I liked, you get like IQ questions or riddles or and
yeah,
math questions as actually that you can convert to math. And I always I like solving problems, being a problem solver. And I wanted like the craziest one, and I kind of got it. I had to solve a problem. I had to figure out what the hell was going on. And the thing is that's strange about it to me is, and I even said it to my buddy, and was still when I was in Edmonton or Red Deer before I moved back home. So it was within the first month or two, and they had visited, and there was it was like all of a sudden everything in my life made sense as to why I did. I mean, for starters, I spent 2 years in a college course learning electronics, which is the manipulation of electricity, right?
right.
And so it starts getting a little bit at the basis of some things in reality, electrically, because we really only understand it indirectly, like from things that happen. You can't see it, right? So it's like the mystery thing. Anyway, but then I wasn't really in that field exactly. So why did I spend, I spent all this time. I grew up in a very religious household, very Orthodox style. I grew up
Right.
outside of the world, right? Living almost a double life. There's church life, and then there's school and the world life, right? And I grew up and I learned. I had this fascination of geography, and I learned all this shit and memorized all this stuff for these competitions in grade 5. So all these things that I was good at or knew of made sense or molded who I was to try to shuffle through a situation, because it was obviously and early on became clear to me and many others that there's some weird spiritual shit going on here too, because for some people it was sort of direct. For me, some of it was like in my dreams for a little bit, and some strange stuff, and then the science fiction shit, which is technological, and then like obviously the geography, but it was like it made sense all of a sudden. Like all this shit in my life just like was like the information that I was like, I have to do this. Clearly this is what I'm supposed to do, or one thing at least is to talk about and figure out the Mandela effect stuff, and for me, I mean, owed a concern for the situation and humanity, to figure out the situation was very important. But also for me, early on, I needed to jump into the arena, because I know there's shills, I know there's evil, I know there's whatever, people for money, whether it be whatever. I need to have an effect. I need to try to whatever, which is why I chose the statue, actually, because one of the points is it was time to think, not react, right? Like I didn't want everyone freaking out or drawing conclusions. Like, this is huge, this is like complicated as F. Whatever's going on, this is not simple.
Right.
Don't jump
No,
to
I agree.
conclusions and everybody get on a bandwagon. It's not
Well,
somebody's saying.
remember,
And I also think we're kind of like battling evil sometimes, and
yes.
just let me finish a little bit is, and so I did actually, and then treating it like the internet, the wild world, I came out attacking as much as I was ever trying to explain anything, because I'm trying to say things are wrong, multiple realities are wrong, or whatever's wrong, I'll create your own reality. I wasn't a fan of that one, right? We're not freaking gods, and reality's not just going to change, like, or whatever. There's different things that I would attack, perhaps for the wrong reasons, or not the wrong reasons, but I'm assuming people might be thinking certain things, and I'm thinking that they have different intents when they most likely didn't, right? Or may not have. So yeah, I came out attacking in many cases. That's why a lot of other YouTubers didn't like me. I don't blame them. Because if I didn't agree, I would swing, in with my words.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I've always kept people around. What I can't stand is the YouTubers that always have like people around them that are just yes men, and like just people like this, like always like seem to always agree on everything. And it's like I always kept it really real over here, because it was like, well, we may not agree, but we're all on the same team. We're trying to figure this out, and we all have different thoughts, and we go through different stages, and I get it. And, and through that, exploration of learning and trying to understand the world and myself and other people in it, I found like there was definitely some dirty players in the Mandela effect community. I do believe that I did learn a little bit. I kind of understand people's ideologies a little bit better when it comes to, this concept like you just pointed out, you can just manifest or create. That's not quite the way it works. But if you do put energy into something and you do focus, you can achieve. And so I feel like
To me, it doesn't
that's
matter if it's possible or not. To me, it was the fact you shouldn't be doing it. Yeah,
well,
we're freaking wise enough to be doing things. We're not wise
mm.
enough to do anything. Most humans.
Well, what I'm saying is like, for instance, if I want to attain something, okay, I want to work towards whatever the goal might be. I feel like, those that's totally attainable. But sitting around and trying to kumbaya a new, better existence by just doing nothing and not getting up and helping the world around you isn't going to do anything. I think that that's where, like, I kind of leave it alone because it's like, okay, like you
Well,
need to.
what's one after anyway, right? What do you want, and why do you want it for
Well, I
yourself?
mean, like, it could be anything. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm saying that
you know,
sarcastically. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's about wants.
right,
Like
right.
who cares? Like look at this.
hmm
This is like all humanity thing, and to have wants for oneself.
Well,
This is
I
some very
worked hard to when I decided to get it back on my feet. I didn't want to become a director. It wasn't my want or my goal to become this person. But then, what happened was once I got the opportunity, I just focused on the job and I just did everything I could to, to make sure I did the best at what I could do. And then when the opportunity was kind of presented to me that, hey, you could be the next director because we see a lot in you, then I was like, I really want to do that. That's what I want. So I worked extra hard and stayed extra focused. And, I beat out 92 other people for the job that actually had more skill, more time in doing that job. And I was able to beat them out. Now, one might say, well, you didn't manifest that, but I don't think I manifested it. It's not like I sat around and, you know, kumbaya'd it. No, I got up and I worked really hard for it, and I made sure that, you know, that, I don't know, that I could just, I just tried to do the best I could. And at the end of the day, I won out. Okay. I got picked. And that was something I feel like, that's how you manifest is through hard work. Um, and
It's both actually, in a sense. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is like, yeah, it's all in one, right? And the same with our physical lives and our spiritual selves or bodies. That both can affect each other. The spiritual realm can affect the physical realm. The physical realm can affect the spiritual realm or the energy of it, the energy of matter and things within. But so it's both for sure. And so therefore if you're determined or you're kind of like almost know you're going to get the job, then you can go get the job. And the frame of mind that you're going to get it is a lot different than I'll try to get it. Right. Huge. And with things, and after living like the Mandela effect, you can have a little bit more confidence in the sake that you can have an effect on the outcome just by how you envision or you're going to have the future. I don't even know how you're going to have it happen. Like just
Yeah.
being more sure about it. Like you can say confidence, but it's not confidence. It's a knowing or some
Well,
degree of
it is a
knowing.
knowing. It is. And it was a knowing that now I would say this, that I didn't let certain things get me down. I had gone to school to become an aircraft technician. And I'm going to tell you, man, the entire time I was in that school, I had never, now this is during the middle of COVID, and everyone's wearing masks. So no one has any Nobody can see your face. Nobody can see your emotions. You were just a number. It was the saddest thing I've ever experienced ever, because like it was a weird world, man. It was the first time I'd been in a world where, uh, you know, asking a fellow classmate how they're doing became offensive. Um, things like, having problems where my glasses were fogging up because I was wearing a mask and I was taking them off, got me in trouble, where they kicked me out of the first class over it,
Right, I
and
remember that.
had police there to escort me out of the building over goggles, dude. Like this place was so freaking jacked. And then the HR person calls me, and they had a heart, thank God, and they allowed me to stay in the class but go to instead of the night class, I was going to the day class. And I finished it out. I graduated. And they didn't place me because they they were pissed that I got a second chance. You know what I mean? Like that's how much hatred like there was no humanity anymore, man. That's the one thing I'll tell
Who
you
was it
about
that
that.
was supposed to place you?
They're supposed to place me. So what it was is
Like a
it
teacher
was the
person or
job
something?
training you. Yeah. So the job had the training, had the schooling. That was at actual college, and they would train you, and then after you go through graduation, uh, you know, everyone would get placed and get a position at their facility, except for me and one other guy. And but we finished. I finished all my work, and there were people that, because of uh, DEI and quotas and things like that, who were people who were terrible at, you had to learn how to rivet, put in rivets and, build parts. And I was really good at that. You can imagine, as a mechanic and working with my hands my whole life, I was great
Yeah,
at it.
some people just don't pick up tools and use them.
And
Naturally,
there were people that they would look, no, I mean, people would be asleep in class, not care, and turn in work that was only like 30% completed, and they got to go. Dude, it was the most bullshit thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, I could have gotten really down with that. I was really down initially. It made me so sad that I didn't get picked, because the original, I guess my original class, the guy heading up the class, just really hated me. I mean, just hated me. And I'm telling you, man, I've never felt so much hatred. And the only thing I could say, Noble, is I feel like all that hatred came from the fact that, and I forgave him because I understood why he hated me, and it wasn't his own fault, because he
Do you think it was
never.
just COVID, or do you think he was an occultist?
I think that he never. He's one of these people that is, number one. Um, I don't believe he's spiritually in tune with anything, and
I see.
two, I
wound up
don't believe he
NBC.
actually saw me as a human, because I was always covered up. When your face is always
Oh, I
covered,
see. Yeah, there was issues
you know what I'm
there.
saying? Yeah, you don't see a person as. So people were able to be very nasty and
They weren't
awful to
themselves.
one another, and it was just accepted because of
Like the
COVID.
early days of online, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You remember
So,
that? People used to
oh,
just say the craziest shit to everybody.
oh yeah,
You
oh
fuck
man,
this, that. And no one even
when
cared.
no
No
one
one took it
cared.
to heart. And then people started taking shit to heart. I don't know what the
Yeah.
hell's wrong with them.
Hmm.
Social media did crazy things.
I was going to ask you, have you heard about Terrence Howard,
I don't
actor?
think so.
Apparently, he's got something to say. I want you to listen to this. I think this is right up your alley. I find it interesting because it makes sense to me. And this might be, it hits home for me. And but he's an interesting guy, genius level, I believe. He's very well spoken, but he's an actor. He's been in Hollywood, and but he's gone and he started talking about mathematics and the way we think about mathematics, and it's Yeah, it's a little bizarre. I mean, if you think about it, the way we do our multiplication and fractions and stuff, he said that he'll bring up some stuff in the speech, but it's fascinating. I want you to listen. So here it is. Let me play it. 1 second. All right. All right. Here you go.
What Da Vinci tried to do at 80, I did at 6 years old because I had been working on it perhaps from a past life. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm crazy or this reincarnation or anything, but we know that energy does not die. Energy just reboots itself and reboots itself. So we are eternal. So stop panicking, thinking your life is over. You've done this trillions of times.
Amidst the flickering candlelight, Terrence Howard's confessions pierced the darkness, unraveling a tapestry of secrets that had remained hidden for generations.
But my question actually has to do with your numbers theory. So if by your logic you say 1 times 1 equals 2, are you insinuating that 1 times 0 then equals 1?
Equals 1. Well, that's what we were saying with the identity principle, the identity property. It says that 1 times nothing.
Can you pause it for a second?
Equals nothing.
Yeah.
Did you leave a link for this? Did we watch some of this before, not long ago? Man, I just watched this, dude, but not this video exactly. I don't.
Oh,
think.
really?
Yes,
Yeah,
I clicked on
that's
something.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to know what I think.
What do you think?
But I can't. I would have to have the same video, and I can't remember right now. I'm too tired to figure it out. But
okay,
some of the things he was saying was pretty nonsensical. I remember like a dime times a dime. We say 1 dime times 1 dime is 1 dime.
$1.
Or $1.
Well, we would say,
what? Anyway, the point is that, and then the way he would word the reasoning, it's like, no, in that case, a dime times a dime is a dime squared because a dime is not numerical. And and that's not what he was saying.
It is
And
weird.
Not that
point,
that's right
though.
either. But he's wrong. The way he was taking math and then using words wasn't even correct. It was like kind of nonsensical. I'm not saying with everything, but with a bunch of things, it's because people don't really understand math. and what it represents and how things represent things. Like he was interlinking vocabulary and math wrong, essentially, is as simple as I can put it. And it was like retarded. But
I find it interesting that the point he brought, the one I just keyed on was 1 times 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Why?
Because
what happened to the 1?
0 is nothingness.
Yeah. But I find it interesting.
Well, what happened to the 1? Because 0 takes precedence over 1 for some reason.
Right.
Nothing. Oh, you know what?
I think it's just an interesting debate, right?
Because no, actually, I'll tell you what it is. It's because the whole system of thinking is based on the number 0, and that's a concept, right? 0 wasn't always around. We had a number system
the
long
Romans.
before.
Did the Romans add the 0? Is that
so? And what is and why wouldn't we have a nothingness? And I'll tell you why. What I think is because naturally is actually in the energetic realm, not in a physical realm. In a physical realm, you count things, and you, like how many is here. So in a physical realm, like there's limitations. In an energetic realm, it's like, well, I have 3 cars, or maybe a mechanical thing's kind of dumb, but I have however many 3 apples. So like, you mean like you don't say that, you have apples. Well, why don't anyone recognize that you have 3? Well, did you want 4? It doesn't matter. Or maybe there's only 1. If I only need 1, then I have 1. Right? Like it can all change. The amount that's there is irrelevant. Like, why does it matter how much of anything you have? If you take something away and then you have a different amount, like that's irrelevant. You don't even think like that in an energetic realm.
Okay, fair enough. Real quick,
so we created 0. Sorry, we created the concept of 0, and it's kind of nonsensical. It's a physical thing. It's a physical perspective.
Okay.
The concept of 0. Yeah.
All right. Question. You have clear skies right now? Outside?
I don't know. I'm a bit in the city, like there's street lights. I looked outside a couple times. And
I was gonna go outside real quick and look. I'm gonna play the video. I want to go
Yeah, I can
outside
go
real
look
quick.
around.
I want to go take a peek because
Looks like it
people are
would be a little
saying there's
faster.
an aurora borealis happening right now.
Yeah, I
And
should be looking. I'm pretty far
I should.
north.
I mean,
Usually
you
we
should
look
see
at
it if you're. Yeah, I don't know if I get a chance, but let me go check it out. I will try. I think I have a clear sky tonight, so I'll give it a look. Anyway, let's play the video. I don't know. I find it fascinating,
I'll
and
grab
a
a
lot of
drink,
people are talking about this right now on the internet. Here we go.
Something, so now you have the laws of physics have to now adjust because something just disappeared. Conservation of energy, energy can't be created or destroyed. So if 1 times 0 equals 0, then what happened to the energy of the 1? Isn't that the same problem that Stephen Hawking was talking about with the event horizon and the information going in and still being present, that conflict that was started? Well, that's because of the math. The principles in the math are not founded on truth. It's not founded on substance. The identity principle, anything times 0 is 0 and anything times 1 is 1. Where is that number? Where is that exemplified in nature or in universal phenomena? Is it? Do you see that?
So then, are you saying that 1 times 5 would be 6?
Yes. Well, what does it say in the associative and commutative thing?
So you're
if A and B
proposing-
are positive integers, it says if A and B are positive integers, A is to be added to itself as many times as is indicated by units in B.
So you're not proposing an audit, you're proposing like a
well, I'm not the first
reconstruction
one to
of
say
the way
we
we
need to do
understand
this.
math.
You know what's interesting? In 1856, a man from Liverpool named Richard Dover Statter challenged the Dewey Decimal System and said that it was wrong and created an entirely new system to show how it can be brought into correction. So I'm not the first person to state this. It's a number of people did it, but look up Richard Dover Statter. Try and find him. You won't find him because he's been erased from history almost.
Your view on consciousness and energy sounds very similar to what Dr. Robert Lanza proposes in Biocentrism. So that may be of interest to you if you haven't read that text. But about 5 years ago, you spoke about harmonic wave sequencing and how that could
Harmonic wave resequencing.
And how that could possibly solve cancer or genetic ailments within the next 5 years. I think that was about 5 years ago. So is there much progress on that? And how do you propose that this resequencing would actually recode people's genetics in order to prevent them from getting these ailments?
Simple. Our DNA is made up of what? 5 elements, right? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen. Do you know how they're arranged? The phosphorus sits right here in the middle, and you've got 4 oxygen atoms surrounding it. Then there's another phosphorus, 2 more oxygen atoms. Now these are the legs of that double helix. These are the legs. Now the latter steps on it, they become the adenine, the guanine, the cytosine, and thymine, the ATCGs. It turns out hydrogen, they used to think that energy, the body transferred or understood the energy information through electricity. They're finding out it's through frequency. Well, guess what hydrogen sounds like? It's a key of E. Guess what? And it's the color yellow. That's what proper physics gets you to. Oxygen is a chartreuse, and it's the key of F over F sharp. Now, they used to, like I said, information used to be thought about as just electrical information passing on. But I got a question for you. Have you ever been at a party with some of your friends you ain't seen in 10 years, but y'all was like 14, you hung out and there's a song that came on and you was like, and everybody got up and was live at that moment. Now say 10 years later you got a friend with you. He's a good guy, but he wasn't there when me and my boys formed this. So when that song comes on, our DNA tightens. There's a particular song, a scale in the genome for each and every one of us. Now, when that song is played, when your particular prime resonant frequency is played, guess what happens? Your DNA celebrates and tightens. Everything else gets pushed out. Harmonic wave resequencing. The carbon is also the key of E in yellow. Nitrogen is G. And all these play a song. So say that the F over F sharps of the oxygen, the green, is only hitting at an F. Why? Because there's another frequency coming in from a generator over there. That's changing and causing it to change. So this F now hits the oxygen. And when it hits, when the F hits the carbon, so instead of hitting as an F sharp, it hits as an F. So when it hits the carbon at an E, it doesn't hit it quite right. So the domino don't file right. So the next domino hits wrong. And so now we have malformation happening within our DNA because the frequencies are being pushed off. But when we hear our tone, we tighten back up. So yeah, I'm in the process of building the harmonic wave resequencer with another doctor who has been able to successfully cure AIDS.
All right. So you got the little snippet there, 6 minutes of Mr. Terrence Howard. Are you still with me, Noble? Okay. So Noble's busted. Yeah, so anyway, I've heard about this before. Now this is interesting because he isn't the first one to talk about harmonic resequencing. Actually, I've heard about this going all the way back to ancient Egypt. They have these giant cathedral-like buildings that have water running through them, and the oral tradition was that they were used for healing, that frequencies would through water would be used, and people would go in there and they would heal them of their ailments or illnesses. Again, this could be why the long lifespan of people in the Bible seem to live a bit longer than us, right? Although, it states that man's years will be 120, but in the Bible, there's like all these records of people living quite longer that aren't, Nephilim. So, is there something to this? I don't know. Hey, man.
I think I can see a little something. I'm going to try to get an image or video of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but in order to do so, I'm going to take my phone, and right now, because until tomorrow morning when the tech comes, my internet's running off my phone. So I'll come back online here in a couple minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I looked, and just for the audience, I could not see anything unless it's just so faint for me. Being I'm out in the country, but it's Dallas and everything. It's looming. Let me put it that way. It looms bright. So I don't know if it's just I'm not seeing something because I can't. It's so dim. I imagine mine, even if I did see it, it would be very, very dim. It had to be really dark for me to probably see anything. But yeah.
Okay, I'll see. It's a good chance it's not going to show up on film. There's street lights around. I'm in the city, but I'll see if I can get it. And I got a decent camera now. So yeah, I'll be back online in a few minutes.
Okay, cool.
All right, talk to you in a bit. Bye.
All right, man. All right, so Noble's gonna take a break for a second, check out, see if we can get some video. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you can see it. He's in Canada, so I'd imagine they definitely have more of an opportunity to see it. And yeah, and you're right, Sue. So it's all about show me the money. The problem is that if you could really do this and cure cancer and AIDS and all this sort of stuff, there is no way this machine's coming on the market. Okay, not in this demonic ass world. I mean, there's no way they're gonna do that. Those are see these right here, AIDS and cancer. That's like a couple $1 billion a year, right? So yeah, I don't see that coming to light. Although it'd be great, if somebody found a new way to help us and cure some of the ailments of humanity. That would be really a wonderful thing. If that happens, I would say that we are definitely moving into more of a golden age in this world. So, I have hope. And you know, it'd be great if that ever came to fruition, but I don't know. I have a feeling that we're not going to see it. I think somebody even asked him, like, he had talked about this 4 years ago. It's like, okay, you're a very smart guy, figure out this thing. You got 4 years. Where you at? Where is it? Can we see? Can we get a demo? Yeah. Anyway. So if you want to see more, it's Terrence's Howard speech. It's all over. It's all the rage right now. I'm telling you, it's hot. Hot, baby. Okay. Let's see. Next. We'll go back to just some random clips. Crazy shit right here. Police chase. Just wait till you see this.
What is it, like a wallet?
I kind of laughed, actually.
I'm just got. Is it okay if I just take this whole thing, or do you want to take it out of there? Very close. No, you just slammed on your brakes not to hit them. Hey, step out. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Out. Get out of the car. 1080, 1080. 184, I'm 1080. 16 west, going towards downtown. Glover, speeds about 70. He's stuck in some traffic. He's behind a school bus. He's just passed the school bus on a double yellow, almost went head on. Passing the CNC furniture store right now. Coins thing. I see you.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to wait for it. Well, I think they try to get him with the spike strips.
Passing Mayor, let me get somebody call over so I can pin him real quick.
Now he's going to do the Pittman maneuver, or pit maneuver, where they call it. Thank God that dumb cop didn't kill a bunch of people, man. Holy crap. I don't know if that was a good spot. Couldn't you have pitted him in the other direction? Anyway. All right, so they got him. He doesn't look injured. I don't think anybody else was injured, so good. But we'll just wait and see what happens. He's very feisty. This man does not want to be arrested, and
1018. Got a gun on you? No, I don't got nothing, bro. Watch out, watch out. Lay the back, man.
he's pissing him off because he keeps putting his foot there and just making sure the door doesn't shut. It's just annoying him. They're like, damn it. And now watch, you'll see what happens. He's gonna try to get out on the other side. Now wait. Now these fools know that this kid is super feisty, right? And he's got no give up in him. And they put him in this car alone, and they're all standing around, blah, blah, blah. Well, he hops in the front seat. I have seen this too many times. Like, you would think they have a system now, like when they get out of the cars, like maybe some sort of system, like it's a digital system where it knows when the cop's not in the driver's seat, the car shuts off. Anyway, car's running. You can guess what's about to happen. Here we go.
Yo!
And off he goes. At this point, I'm rooting for the kid. I'm sorry. I'm just rooting for him. I'm like, dude, you go, boy. Go. Oh, man, I'm rooting. I'm sorry. I don't know why. It shouldn't be funny, but to me, it's comical because all these cops are scrambling, like, "Oh my God, he just took our car!" Like, one of the guys like, "I am so getting written up for this." Anyway,
Take control bar.
Yeah, took a Tahoe headed towards Phoenix and just had a tire come off.
1411 Owen, Navy, K9, 10-8 today.
I think. Wait a minute. I think I've seen this video. No, this is 5/8/2024. I swear to God, if the video I'm stopping it here because there was a video like this before where they it was a woman or a man, I don't know, but there was one I saw where okay, they had the cruiser and so they took the cruiser, then they captured him again. And then, like, I remember a video similar to this where the guy runs out of the woods and jumps in an open cruiser and takes off again. Don't tell me this is going to happen. I know I've seen this before. If this happens, I'm going to trip out because I've not seen this. Let's see what happens. Oh, never mind. They tased him. See right there, that would have been hilarious. What if he had gotten like into the woods, they lost him for a split second, and then he darts out real quick as everybody's running in, jumps in that dude's open cruiser and takes off again. Oh, that would have been so good. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, I guess they got him with the taser. Oh, he just he got shot with that taser. That's out of pure frustration, man. That is so funny. He just my man gave up. Like, I give up. Oh no, you don't. Bam. You're gonna have to ride the lightning a little bit for that stunt, my man. Sorry. Oh, that's funny.
All right, relax. Hey, we're good. We got him. Relax. We got him. Calm down. We're good.
His finger was on that taser the entire time. Like, he was shocking the shit out of that kid. Oh my God. Yeah, he's frustrated. That's just out of pure frustration. They're just mad.
We're good. Hey, here's what we're gonna do. Grab me some shackles.
He's like, get the shackles. Let me get Noble back in here. What's up, Noble? What'd you see?
Well, it isn't coming in on the camera. I got one picture. I don't even know if I get it off my phone right now, but yeah, it kind of intermixes with the clouds a bunch. It's like streaks, and then there's an area that's all like haze red. There's this big red area.
Yeah.
But when I first went out, it was, and I looked up, it was kind of like usually when I see the northern lights, there's like waves and streaks across the sky. In this case, it's like something coming straight down at me and breaks into streaks like a star straight above me. Like, that's strange. Like, it's coming from me directly above. I've never seen this in any of the effects of northern lights before, but
you know, one way you could capture it, and I don't know if you have one of those cameras, but if you had a digital camera or DSLR or whatever, you could probably do the time lapse. It would probably catch it pretty good because that seems to filter out all that stuff, and then it could probably see it. But I don't know if you have. Yeah, you're not that equipped. All right, so let's see here. Let me just do this. So let's see. Who said so? Wait. Somebody said something. DJ said something. Something about the bees? The bees. The bees. The bees. What are you talking about? The bees.
They don't
Okay.
really fly with the wings. That one.
I don't know what she's bringing up about the bees.
There is a science one about the bees and how they fly.
Oh, okay. Unless she was talking about something that she sent to me on Facebook. I don't know. Okay, I'm just bringing up. Maybe she can tell me because I'm not following her right now. Let's see. Oh, this is funny. Poor doggy. Watch this. Here it is. There it is. Okay, here we go.
This pup had the funniest reaction when he listened to the voicemail left by his doggy daycare.
Wanted to give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone. And a lot of the dogs did not like it. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody than he is playing and
He's like, man, she wanted it, man. I'm telling you. And he's like, man, that was a trans doggy. I had no idea he was a dude. I'm sorry. Wasn't my fault.
I think his mom's a lefty.
Yeah, probably.
She's a victim of her poor, horrible acting dog.
Let's see here. I just got I don't know what the hell. Few different things here. Did the Jim Brewer. Let's see.
I shouldn't be saying lefty. It's kind of dumb. I should just say some woke craze.
Yeah. Dude, have you ever had a crazy girlfriend?
Limitedly. I mean, I had a couple that had they were a little crazy-ish at times, but not lose it. No.
Like not a bunny boiler or anything like that. A bunny boiler. Yeah, you ever seen Fatal Attraction?
I can't.
Where the guy, the guy, he steps out of the marriage. He thinks he's gonna have this little one night stand, flingy thing while the wife's out of town, and he's like, cool, thanks, that was great. I appreciate the, all the yum yums, right? So then she's like, oh hell no, you're not just gonna diss me. And she shows up. He comes home one day and chick's in there talking to his wife, and she's become friends with his wife now. And he's like, what the hell are you doing in my house? And she's just like, I don't know how she introduced herself, but somehow she was able to convince the wife that, they're best buds. And the wife was like, hey, this is so-and-so. This is Susan. Yeah, this is Susan. She's such a sweet gal. I met her at the store, that type of thing. So then he's getting pissed off because chicks just hanging around all the time.
That's crazy. Yes.
And then he goes on vacation with his wife. They come back, and there's a bunny boiling in the pot. Their kid's bunny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They freak out. So that was a crazy scene back in the day, because who'd ever think you'd see a poor bunny in a pot? But anyway, that's where the term bunny boiler, that's when you got a crazy girlfriend.
I see. No, not to that extent. You?
Oh yeah.
You've had some crazies.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes. I could tell you, but we'll watch the clip. Here we go.
Reason why you keep knocking on that door? Okay, well, I need you to come over here away from the door. Do what? No?
Yep.
Hey, I'm just away from the door.
She's just knocking on the door.
All right, go inside. I don't want her here. She's been asked to leave many, many times. She doesn't want to leave. I don't want her hurt. I don't want her arrested. I just want her out of here, please. And I want it noted. I want a report. You could see she's been doing this forever. I've been waiting for my glass to come in and break. She dated my son. They're not together anymore. And I don't want her on my premises. This is my home.
Okay.
And I don't want her here. And this is my son. And I don't want him coming out of here because I don't feel safe with her, with him.
Okay. Ma'am, what is your name? Ma'am, what is your name?
I don't want her in trouble. I just want her to understand she's not welcome
Okay.
here.
What's her first name? Since she doesn't want to answer me. Sandra?
Samantha.
Samantha? Samantha, are you hearing what she's saying? Hello? Samantha, do you have your driver's license, your ID with you? Okay, this is going to last for a couple more minutes till my other deputy gets here, and then she's going to have 2 routes. One, she's going to answer me, or she's going to go to jail.
Him or you're going to leave.
I know, she's going to go to jail.
Okay, so please, that's not what we want.
Just give me your driver's license.
Okay, I don't have it with me. You still need to leave.
Well, then you need to talk to me. I can understand how relationships and stuff like that can be very, very volatile. But this is not the way to act like it, because I'm assuming you're an adult. All right? What is your last name? Amanda, what is your last name?
Samantha, if you
Or
keep
Samantha.
obstructing him, he is going to put you in cuffs. Just give him the information
This is mom.
and leave.
This is ex-boyfriend, and this is
You need to go inside.
it's Samantha, right?
Samantha.
Yeah, this is Samantha who's not
Aw.
willing to answer any questions or
Hey,
have
puppy.
anything to do with police and refusing to leave with her telling us she wants her to leave.
Samantha, you're currently trespassing. Do you have ID on you? You don't? Or are you not going to provide it?
I don't have it.
Okay, I'm asking.
No. Do
Are you
have your
going to
registration
leave?
in your car? You have your registration in your car.
Can you run
Or
that
you
tag
are-
right down that car?
I'm showing about to show your registration.
Are you going to leave right now off this property?
Dude, they're being like way too cool with her. Like at this point, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can obviously tell this chick is like totally stalling and
They
like, not
usually
listening to-
want to get things over without them needing to do paperwork.
No, dude,
Too
I'm
much.
just like, if that were a guy that was bugging a chick, that dude would have been cuffed already, shot or tased, one of the two, by now. I'm just
They
saying.
would have pulled
like,
them away from the door sooner.
oh yeah, oh
They
yeah,
would have got physical sooner. Sure.
for sure, for sure.
Is this her car right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that a yes or no?
Sam.
I'm not going to ask you again.
Sam, they're not playing with you. We just want you to leave our home. We don't wish you any ill will. You're just not welcome here anymore. You need to leave. Why would you want to go and obstruct justice and get yourself into trouble when you're being given the chance by 3 officers to leave here who are being very respectful and calm with you and giving you the chance to go to your home and deal with whatever it is that you need to deal with today? And not be here and get yourself in trouble. It's not worth it. You just can't stay here. That's going to cause you problems later. If you get arrested, then you got to go back to court. Then you're considered a stalker. Then you're obstructions of justice, not listening to a police officer.
Are you going to leave right now?
Please leave. And do not come back.
Is that a valid deal?
Yes or no? Okay. So you heard her. She wants you trespass from this point. It's on camera. If you come back on this property and we catch you here, you go to jail. You understand? All right.
Thank you.
I don't know.
See, that right there, sir, that is a bunny boiler. You can see it in her eyes, man. She was, but they don't have a bunny, but that dog is, yeah, watch out for that little guy because I'm sure he fits into a pot nicely. And
What did they title this video? Did something more happen?
Something crazy, girl. Like, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot left. I feel like more is about to happen, bro. We're only halfway through it.
Right.
This crazy girl, she can tell, man. She is, yeah. Did you see her react? Did you see her blow up earlier? Like she's got some serious anger issues, man. She just tries to stay. When she lets go, it's over. So, watch a little bit more. See what happens. See the drama unfold.
I just know she's young and dumb, and I would hate to see her mess up her future.
Oh, I know.
She's
Trust me.
also a little- but she's also a little dangerous, and that worries me.
All right, like I said, if she comes back on your property, you call us.
Uh-oh.
She's gonna give us another reason to take her.
Show Samantha 27 acres of this property.
You're welcome. She just blew through that stop sign.
Go get her.
She's gonna kill somebody.
Yep.
Dude.
That's funny.
Wow, man. This chick. Whew.
The suspect passed 7 business parking lots, multiple side streets, and a few turning lanes, but didn't stop.
2748, we're continuing 27.
Dude.
40 miles an hour.
All this. Dude, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, okay, now I'm not trying to get on my, boomer rant here, but I'm just saying this is a little much for just could you please leave type thing. And now she's what are they gonna do, man? They're gonna have to like jack her car because they're gonna have to like ram her, and you know what I'm saying? Like all of this over because you couldn't leave. Like they're willing to, like, dude, really? Like, hey man, we've all had like bad relationships or whatever, but that's crazy to burn off in front of the cops like that. Like, wow, talk about a defiant little shit. Okay, here we go.
We're 50 and a 50 in the slow lane. We're slowing down. We're coming up to West Virginia Street.
Turn the car off! Turn it off! Turn the car off! Turn it off! Turn the car off! Turn the mother car off!
What the f did I do? What did I do?
Unlock the door.
Get off your phone.
Get on the
God,
car! What did I do?
you can't even get arrested.
Oh my god! What did I do? What did I do? Give me your hand. What did I do? What did I do?
She's a little delusional. She's gonna play this now.
What did I do?
Over.
What did I do?
How about run a stop sign, squeal your tires, and you fail to yield? Now you're under
I
arrest.
didn't fail to you.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Get up. All right, get against the car.
Can you guys explain to me what did I do?
Over here. Turn around.
You know what's gonna upset her more than anything than getting arrested is the fact she won't be able to text for a while. She's gonna die, bro. Like, oh my god, I won't be able. Dude, the entire time she's just texting. Like, oh thank God, these phones. Anyway, yeah. So she is totally delusional, right? Like, I mean, either that or she's just like, I guess, just she doesn't understand the severity of what's taking place. So
It's unbelievable how many of them nowadays
yeah,
like lie when they know everyone knows it's a lie.
yeah, yeah.
Like it's so childish. It's unbelievable how many people do that now. Well,
Dude. She obviously has either some rich parents or she has a good job at her age because she's driving a pretty nice car there. That car's not cheap.
Can you guys explain to me?
He just told you
do?
what you did.
I did not fail to yield.
You squealed your tires in the neighborhood. You blew the stop sign.
I squealed my tires because this
And I tried to
car.
pull you over, and you didn't want to stop. All the way from Lake Minnetonka Shores and 27.
Where am I supposed to stop?
We are 2 miles away
I
from
see
that.
this entrance. That's why I stopped here, right here by
Nope,
the entrance.
you could have pulled in the gas station, the city hall, any street, turn lane.
But I didn't understand why you guys were coming after me.
Okay, that's not how that works.
Can you guys please not do
Oh, yes.
this? Can you guys please?
No, you're
not
under
do
arrest.
this?
Your car's getting towed.
But what did I do? Can I have my phone?
It will
I
go with
told
all
you.
right?
I told you.
Can you guys please not do
Do
this?
you mind searching it for me?
Can you guys please
Awesome.
not do this? What did I
Hey,
do?
no, it's over. And you're getting
She's so delusional and out of touch. She was ready to text backwards, bro. Like she's just like, oh my God, I need my phone. I gotta check. It's like I don't know, man. I guess that's reality. I mean, like she doesn't even see like this whole thing playing out in her head as something serious. In her mind, it's just, just a game, I guess. Strange.
resisting arrest too.
No, what are you?
Yes.
Sir.
Sit down. Sit down.
Can you guys please?
Sit down and sit back.
Sir.
Sit back.
Sir.
Sit back.
I can't because of the thing. Why are you holding me like that? Holy shit.
Well, there you go. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't really get like how this happens all the time. Like they do something wrong and then they act like, I don't know. It's like when you have the balls to do something like that, right? And you're that mad and you're that cocky and whatever to do that, and then you do that, and then you act like a child, like a baby,
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't mean to do this.
Yeah.
What? How? Like you're just effed in the head to go from
Yeah.
a feeling of a position of power and authority to a little
Uh-huh.
baby. Like what the
Yeah.
hell? That's so
Yeah.
retarded.
Like, oh my God, you're so mean to me. Why are y'all arresting me? Oh my God. Can I have my phone?
It's
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
it's so
that's
it's
why-
so weak. It's such a weakness move, you know, and it's strange. There's definitely issues for people that can do
I
that.
think so, man. I think I mean, I know I harp on this all the time about how bad the cell phone usage is with these young people and how like literally they just live in this digital sort of fantasy all the time. Everything is just, whatever. It's just text messages and whatever, like back and forth. She couldn't even like talk to the officers without texting. I mean, and I told you she's gonna say something about the phone. She certainly did. Uh I don't know. I think people are like, I don't think they really relate to reality anymore. That's why you see so many young people now, like her age, like the guys, man, they don't even, dude, what's crazy is,
What's her age?
I would say mid-20s,
Mhm.
about maybe late, early to mid-20s, somewhere in there, I think. But yeah, that age group, I mean, they're not really, either, dude, golly, man, it's so crazy. I got another video to show you because this, and I don't even, I'm not even gonna show it to you because it's just so stupid. But you have these girls out there that are like, oh yeah, and they're all proud. She's like, oh my God, I'm about to, be with, about to get whatever she said, like hit up by two guys, whatever, right? And she goes, I am on pace for 365, you know what, this year, like 365. Like literally, it's like, and last year I did 300, and like I can't even imagine that's true, dude. Do girls really go out there now and just profess like how many times they've fucked around? Is that the new thing? Is that like a badge of honor now? I just find it strange. I mean, she's probably what do you call it? Like a OnlyFans kind of girl, whatever. But
Right.
dude, that's wild to me, man.
It's
It's
probably
so
not
wild.
true, honestly.
I think
Probably is for
it
attention.
just
If you're
can't
willing
be
to say
true.
that, then
Yeah,
yeah.
for views and stuff, sure. So that's why I'm just thinking it's probably not. Dude, this is so funny. You want to talk about out of touch? So this Kathy Hochul person in New York, the governor, yeah, it's so weird. And this is really a leftist position, but they're always trying to make black people seem like they're just that so like this is like a time period like where blacks just don't have access to certain things. A while back they had made the claim that asking people for identification to vote was a big no-no because black people and people minorities, it's harder for them to get an ID. So they went around New York in the black neighborhood and they asked all of them, do you have ID? Yeah, of course I have ID. It's like, well, some people were saying that they think that, you guys don't have ID, that you just, when they're like, what are you talking about? You need ID for everything. Of course I have an ID. Like, that's just stupid. And again, it happens again. Listen to this crazy shit.
Because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
That would have been true 40 years ago in the 1980s.
They don't know these things. A computer is. They young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
That would have been true 40 years ago in the 1980s when hardly anybody had home computers, especially poor black kids in the inner city. But this is 2024 when all of them have smartphones, tablets, and laptops. So after those statements, this meme went viral.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them because when you have their diverse
That's so
voices
messed up, man.
innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenge.
And old Joe, who probably doesn't even know what Netflix is.
You know, what blows me away, man, is that they're willing to. They always have some crazy shit they say about. It's so racist. They're the ones that are so racist. They actually like prove it over and over by just how they sort of stereotype black people as like being uneducated and not having access to certain things. And oh my God, you know, we're doing it for them. And it's like, what are you talking about? Our politics is so freaking nutty, man. Yeah, it's wild to me. And then I guess he goes on and talk about some more stuff here. Here we go.
And thinks movies still come out on VHS tapes, thinks the same thing.
A lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community.
This is him talking about getting the free vaccine back during the pandemic.
In the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular store.
And in a desperate attempt to try to retain the black voter base, Joe Biden has temporarily blocked the FDA's ban on menthol cigarettes because 80% of black smokers smoke menthol cigarettes. So he didn't want to upset them. And the ban was supposed to go in place, but he issued an executive order to stop it. The NAACP Health Equity Director, Dr. Chris Purnell, says that delaying the ban will disproportionately harm black communities. According to the FDA, more than 80% of black smokers.
But I thought cigarettes harm people. So, like, if you're stopping them from smoking, how would it harm them if you're trying to help them? I'm so confused. I don't understand. I mean, I don't think they should ban anything. I think people should have the right to choose whatever. But, you know, it's so funny. It's like they want a national ban on menthol cigarettes. Oh my God, man. I wonder what this government thinks. Like, dude, you guys should probably try to, get more people to smoke because that's kind of making people maybe chill out a little bit more. You start pulling cigarettes away from people, they want to see a civil war, man. People are gonna go crazy, dude. There's no way. Anyway, but that's just fine. Just the way it's worded. It's like, disproportionately harm black communities it's going to harm them according to the FDA more than 8%. Okay. So it sounds like, if you wanted to quote, help them, you would take it away. Anyway, strange.
Use menthol cigarettes. So Biden, they don't care. They're going to be harming the black community as long as they don't upset them by taking away their favorite cigarettes.
All right. Wow. Crazy news cycle.
Indeed. I just had a crazy synchronicity happen.
What's up?
I just clicked on a random image that's on my desktop. I get a bunch, and over time, whatever, some Mandela effect related things, I'll capture an image. And I had left a comment on a YouTube. I wish I could find it again. It had to do with in the beginning of Mandela Effect, or early on, I was calling the Mandela Effect a bit of the movie Inception and a bit of the movie Dark City and a bit of the movie Divergent, kind of all put together. the Dark City being the changing of matter, and Inception being involved with the updates, and Divergent essentially being involved with us, or people that really see changes.
Divergent was. I know the other two. I know Dark City is. I know what the what was the first one? The second one was
in Inception.
Inception's where they go into
They
the
manipulate
mind, right?
dreams,
Manipulate
to
dreams.
manipulate what people think.
Right. And then Divergent, I know I saw that. Divergent's where they get. Isn't that where they actually change the future?
It's in the future. It's like post-apocalyptic, and society is
Tom
divided
Cruise, right?
into like no, there's a girl and some dudes, mainly her. She's the main. I don't know her name right off, but they're broken into different groups. So either like you're the type of, and they're all young people too, all the groups. Like you live in different parts of the city and you're good at certain things. You're like, some of them are a passive group of people and some of them are more whatever. I don't know.
I know I've seen this movie.
It's like, it's a bit of futuristic brainwashing. And then there's some of them that are divergent. So they'll be a bit like all the
Okay.
different groups.
Do remember this, but I don't remember the plot. And then it kind of reminds me of some Hunger Games looking thing, but
it's similar in the settings. It's kind of ish. And then I just left you a link here in the duck. And then I brought up YouTube. I just clicked on YouTube page and looked at alerts, and this guy does Mandela Effect videos now and then. He just did one that was 52 minutes ago when I had seen it. And this one's like residue for Casablanca.
Oh yeah, play it again, Sam.
Yeah, why don't you just play it?
Okay, sure.
I don't know if we knew about this res or not, honestly. I mean, one way.
I knew about the effect,
right?
But I don't think I've seen res.
I don't know if I had seen this before or not. It seems to me I haven't, but now I don't know. It's been so much now over the years. I'm lost. See what movie it is?
Dark City.
It is.
No.
Is it not? Maybe it isn't.
No.
Similar.
Bond.
Fuck me. Never mind. Sorry.
Bond. James.
It's a Bond movie?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know.
That's totally. I thought I was seeing freaking
Dark City because of the big clock. The clock
and it being broken.
Yeah.
Weird how it's in both movies. Pretty horrible how I thought that. I'm an idiot. Sometimes I see what I want to see, I guess. No, I only kind of glanced at it. Actually, I didn't really watch the whole thing.
I was listening to I subscribed to this guy. Where is it? Man, I just love his stuff. Like when he recounts like the historical stuff that happened. Let me go to my subscriptions. The Fat Electrician. I listen to those on the way to work. Yeah, they're great.
What is it?
He go here. Let me see.
I'm an electrician, but I'm not fat.
Yeah, I'll show it to you on screen. Here it goes. His stories are fantastic. They're just cool to listen to. Like just stuff you didn't know about. He kind of gives you more in depth about, the book that was written, and they tell you about all kinds of stuff. Let's see. The one I was talking about last week was the one where there was in Korea, or not Korea. It was Korea. It's North and South Korea. Yeah, between North and South Korea, there was this tree, and they're wanting to cut down this tree, and then yeah. So
they started a war over it.
Yeah, they did.
Did I tell you about? Dude, I was talking to. I went to visit my buddy when he came to Edmonton years back, and he's in the military. He's like my best friend, my neighbor friend. And he's in the military. He was doing a sniper course, North Edmonton. So we went up to visit, and he actually, because a lot of guys he knew, I think, were officers now. Like it was sort of like, they were a little bit of the higher up military there. And so these guys are telling stories, and One of them is they were at a base in Afghanistan and these freaking helicopter come in out of nowhere and they're like, what the hell? And it was Russians. And they're all like guns drawn on them and they're getting out of the fucking chopper and their guns drawn on them. And he got a dude in his ear, his next in command kind of deal, like just not much above him, that is telling him to shoot the Russians because they're unannounced. They had no idea they were coming, and then he wouldn't, and they're all yelling at each other like shit. Like it's like movie level shit, right?
Huh.
And then eventually, like he wanted confirmation, I think, from the guy above him. Like he just wouldn't listen to orders, and then eventually came down. Oh no, it turns out they were supposed to come because information came from higher above eventually. And this is on an earpiece when he's got a machine gun pointed at Russians, and all his boys do around him, and they do, and the Russians do back, and they all they don't want to shoot each other, but they're all yelling at each other, put the guns down. Point being, some mofo, right, is telling him to start freaking a war. What the hell?
Wow.
You don't go killing Russians because they landed in some piss pot freaking little spot in Afghanistan that you're calling your freaking little zone, right? What the hell? So yeah, whatever. Crazy story. I think it's evil. Like it's occultist shit. Like there were people, whatever. There's people trying to start things, right?
Sure. Oh yeah. I think there's a crazy something that happens to people, man, in wartime, especially in war itself. You hear about some pretty crazy stuff that happens, and yeah, I mean, very treacherous stuff. One thing what was it? This one was really good. This was it's so crazy because all these people like always they're just like freaking really smart, really innovative people. And what you find out over and over and over again, I don't know why we haven't learned our lesson, but it seems like government always seems to hold us back from, inventing or using things that could, help us. And this is in wartime, they were still holding people back. And you just hear about, these divisions of our military that they're doing the testing and they won't let this happen. Or you'll hear about a submarine commander that says, "Yeah, man, these Mark 14 torpedoes suck. I shoot them, they hit the boat, they bounce off, they veer off course, they suck." And they're like, "No, you just don't know how to shoot the torpedoes." And he's like, "Dude, are you fucking kidding me?" Like they don't listen. It's just kind of crazy. What's weird, it's unbelievable that we even won any wars. And the fact because they're just like the chain of command, man. Like nobody wants to admit that they're putting out bullshit, right? They're trying to save face, but we're talking about men's people's lives here, and they're willing to just because they don't want to look bad, they're willing to sacrifice your ass, man. And this is going back to World War II, where you think that everyone was kind of on board to get the greatest, the best, to have everything at their disposal. And it turns out, man, that over and over when you listen to these stories is how tough it was for people to kind of make some headway and get some real changes in place. This one was great. This commander of this battleship, this dude was badass. He actually invented calculations for like the Coriolis effect in battleships so that they would be more accurate shooting longer ranges, because he calculated the curve of the earth. He put the calculation into his when he would plot out the shot. He actually started doing that. And then before that nobody did that. They just kind of everything was on a straight line. And he was like, no, it's got a curve, and it's going to do this, going to drop this amount based off this velocity. Like, holy shit, right? So you just hear about guys, and then he also, but they didn't want to listen to him, so he just did everything he could to just he was so innovative, and like he was like, yeah, the war's gonna be won with aircraft carriers. And he kind of knew that going in, so he's like, all the boats don't need to have these great observation decks like party decks. You need to put anti-aircraft guns on them, right? And the Navy was like, no, we don't want to do that. He's like, fuck that. These things need to look like porcupines, okay? You need to have fucking guns, as many as you can get, because planes are going to be a problem. And like, no one saw it, and they didn't want to do it. But he managed to outfit his fleet because he became like a admiral. And so he was able to outfit his fleet with all these AA guns because he just kind of went around the system and he ordered them anyway, right? Got them put on. And shit like that. And
What ship?
what
You
ship?
don't know. Yeah, well,
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't remember.
it reminded me of World War
It
ships.
was a ship. It was a ship that did have a battle with one of the few ships that sank another battleship. Apparently, there wasn't very many of those battles, but he was in one of them. So it's kind of nothing. The naval stuff's interesting because of our game, but
Yeah, I ranked out today, actually.
oh, did you? All right, you bastard. Yeah, I just, man, you really stick to it, man. I just get so frustrated with lack of idiots, dude. Like don't get me started. I just can't. Bro. I don't know how you put up with that shit. There's so many people
I
just.
play a different game. I play DD.
I know you do. So I try to, but when I do that,
I play a
then
tournament.
my battleships suck, or my, I just like I think what I'm getting is a bunch of these kids that go in there and what they want to do is they're trying to rank up by not really trying. They literally just go in there and die and then start a new game because you don't have to wait for your ship to come back anymore. So you can just keep playing game after game after game after game. See what I'm saying? I kind of feel like that's their strategy. Seriously. Like I see it so much, but anyway.
So did this guy teach anything good besides about the tree?
Yeah, man. There's a ton of
Why is he an
just good
electrician? It has
stories.
nothing to do with being an
I don't
electrician.
know. I guess that's just his name of his channel. I mean, it doesn't sound like something that would be war history or anything like that. But I've heard him before, and I just recently subscribed to him to listen. We can just listen to a quick clip of this one with it's good. So yeah, we'll listen to a little bit of this. Here we go.
This man is the greatest gunslinger of all time, and you've probably never even heard of him. Today we're talking about Willis Augustus Lee, aka Ching Lee. This man won 5 Olympic gold medals in a single year for shooting, then went on to become a battleship commander and used the same principles that he learned at long-range precision shooting and applied them to the massive 16-inch guns on the USS Washington to become the most successful battleship commander ever, and he did all of it with myopia. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Delete Me.
Oh, Nicholas, I thought you would never ask.
Is that a real MP5?
Come and find out.
I gotta go. I'll be right back. 1 minute. Maybe 2. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, this video is brought to you by Delete Me. All right, here's the deal. It's super straightforward. You give Delete Me money, they turn around and they make sure that data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information, because if Delete Me submits an opt-out request, these data brokers are legally required to take that information down and quit selling it. The problem is there's hundreds of data brokers and they make it unnecessarily difficult to submit these opt-out requests, so Delete Me does all of that for you. And yes, most of these data brokers more than likely have your information because we've all signed up for a free trial or we've all downloaded a free app, and whenever you click that little check mark that says, I agree to these terms of service, inside of those terms of service, it usually says, hey, our app or our service isn't actually free, and the way we make money is we use this to harvest all of your data, and then we turn around and sell that data on the internet, and that's how we make money. If so facto, our app or our service isn't free, we've just turned you into the product, and now we're going to sell you. I think we can all agree that's not cool, but that's the unfortunate fact of life. Nothing is actually free. But here's the good news. You sign up for Delete Me, you use the discount code electrician, it's going to save you 20%. You're going to end up paying like $6 a month to get all your information deleted off the internet, and all that free shit that you've already enjoyed, while it might not actually be free, Delete Me can make sure it only costs you like $6 a month instead of having all your personal information sold on the internet. So go check them out. All of that link and discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. On today's episode of Badasses with Bad Eyesight, Ching Lee, born in a small town in Kentucky in 1888, his father was a local judge and had a lifetime passion for shooting, a love for shooting that he would pass on to his son, Lee Jr. By the time Lee was 10 years old, he was such a good shot that he could shoot a bird in flight with his .22. Because of that, he became his small local town's pest exterminator. Anytime anybody had any rodent or any type of pest that they wanted gotten rid of, they would call the young Ching Lee and he would take care of it for them. In addition to his passion for shooting, he also thoroughly enjoyed blowing shit up for fun because, well, there's now a whole lot to do in Kentucky in the early 1900s and America.
Oh, there is poop on everything.
Unfortunately for Lee, this would bring about a lifetime full of problems because one day him and his brother decided to fill a coffee can full of black powder, have a line of black powder leading away from the can so that they could light it safely. They lit it, the fire went all the way down the line of black powder into the can, and nothing happened. So they waited, and then nothing continued to happen. So finally, Willis Lee approached the can, looked at it, got close, opened it up, and then it blew up in his face, giving him severe burns all over his face and eyes. Due to the severity of the burns, it was believed in the days immediately following the accident that Lee would be blind for the rest of his life. Fortunately, he would regain a significant amount of his eyesight. However, his eyes were permanently damaged, and he would have to wear thick glasses for the rest of his life. So obviously, the young Ching Lee was a pretty rambunctious kid, and that translated over into the classroom as well, because he is classic case of the kid that's so smart that school doesn't interest him or keep him stimulated, so he has a bad habit of giving off tasks and doing things he shouldn't be doing. Mainly, he was a prankster and a humongous smartass. For example, when he was 12 years old, he was already chewing tobacco, and the teacher would always confiscate his pouch of tobacco, walk it across the schoolhouse, and throw it into the wood-burning furnace in the corner. Finally, Lee got sick of the teacher burning up all his tobacco, so he went home, emptied tobacco out of the tobacco pouch, filled it full of black powder, and stuck that in his pocket and waited to go to school the next day. Sure enough, teacher confiscates the pouch of black powder, walks it over to the furnace, throws it in, blows up the entire wood furnace. And then, in true smartass fashion, when Lee got in trouble for it, he said, look, this isn't my fault. You took my shit, didn't ask me what it was, and then threw it into fire. That's 100% on you. On another occasion, the teacher had the audacity to send Lee home because his shoes weren't shined enough. So he went home, shined his shoes, stuck paper sacks over his shoes, and tied them up top with a rope. He then walked to school and refused to take the paper bags off because he didn't want his shoes to become unshined and not be within the school's dress code. With the culmination of all these things, Lee's father realizes that he needs to get his son into the military as soon as possible so he has some way to positively channel all of this energy. Otherwise, he's going to end up in jail or worse. So being that he was already a judge, he pulled some strings, gets his kid into Annapolis at the age of 16. Annapolis is where he would get his lifelong nickname of Ching. Originally, it was a different C word that's actually a racial slur. Apparently, it changed to Ching over time just because it was easier to say. Now, they didn't give him that name because he is Asian. He's a white dude from Kentucky. However, he does kind of look like he could be Asian. He wears round, thick glasses. His last name is Lee, and he is a huge Asian history nerd. Sometimes even going as far as signing his signature in Chinese symbols. What I'm trying to tell you is if this were modern times, this dude would definitely be watching anime.
Kakarot, you've never kissed someone? Huh? No, of course not. Why? You're married and have children. Yeah, duh, but what's that have to do with kissing?
Now, for his entire 4 years at Annapolis, he is thoroughly unamused with coursework. He pretty much speeds through it as fast as humanly possible so he can get back to studying things that he likes and going out and shooting guns. Now, because of this, he does join the Navy shooting team, and his senior year, he gets an opportunity to go represent the Navy in a huge national competition put on by the National Rifle Association. At this competition, there is a rifle competition and a pistol competition. Lee has been selected to participate in the rifle competition. Now, this rifle competition is a huge deal. There are 684 people there competing, and they are all qualified to be there. Regardless, Ching Lee ends up winning first place, earning the gold medal by getting a bullseye at a 1,000-yard target, and he wins the entire thing before lunch. Not really having anything else to do for the rest of the day, he's like, fuck it, I guess I'll go do the pistol competition now too, just for funsies. Fast forward about 80% of the way through this pistol competition, and Ching Lee is winning, and he wasn't even there to compete in the pistol competition. And as he's shooting different targets, his pistol blows up in his hand because one of the rounds that he had too much black powder in it from the factory. It blew up his gun and messed up his hand. Not giving a shit, turns around to his buddies watching, somebody throw me a pistol. He grabs it, catches it with his left hand, finishes the round with his non-dominant hand, and goes on to win the pistol competition as well, earning 2 gold medals, being the only American to do it. So after that, he goes back to Annapolis. He's got both of his gold medals. He's basically the Kevin Gates of gold medals, if you will, and it's time to graduate. Now, bad news, he has to take a physical first, and after going all the way through Annapolis schooling, finishing the program, and just winning 2 gold medals in a national shooting competition, they decide you're not qualified to actually join the Navy because, well, Your vision's not good enough, despite the fact that you just scored a bullseye at 1,000 yards last week. So at this point, Ching Lee does exactly what every other badass with bad eyesight would do, and he cheats on that fucking eye exam and makes his way into the Navy.
Yes!
Now, as an officer in training, he gets shuffled around to a bunch of different ships to get a bunch of different experiences, figure out what he likes doing, figure out what he's good at, get him exposed to everything. That's how this is supposed to go. During that time, he actually publishes his first ever article, and it's about the proper way of shooting a pistol. It gets published in the Naval Magazine, and he actually signs his signature at the bottom with a Chinese symbol again. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I like the quote that he actually put in this magazine. And that was, focus on acquiring accuracy before you try to acquire speed, which is eerily similar to the famous quote from also famous gunslinger Wyatt Earp, fast is fine, but accuracy is final. You got to learn how to be slow in a hurry. My point being, game recognized game. They're both onto something, and you should probably write that shit down. Now, the young Lee finally makes his way onto the USS New Hampshire, and that is when the occupation of Veracruz happens. All right, super brief, oversimplified version of what's happening right now. It is 1914, and Mexico is having a revolution, and the new Mexican government is not a huge fan of the United States of America. Because of that, the Tampico affair ends up happening, which is the Mexican government basically captures and detains a bunch of American sailors for a little while. It's a big diplomatic nightmare between Mexico and the United States. Because of that, the president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, decides that he's going to put an embargo on Mexico, and he's not going to let any guns into the country because he's scared that they're going to use them against America. And in April of 1914, Mexico gets a huge shipment of firearms despite the embargo. Ipso facto, Woodrow Wilson sends in the Navy and the Marines to go get those weapons back. Now, bear in mind, this is 1914. There's no Higgins boats. There's no amphibious landing vehicles. Nobody's doing D-Day type shit. So it's literally just a bunch of Navy and Marine dudes getting driven ashore in whaling boats, hopping out and going to find these guns, I guess, because the president said so. So since, America's basically invading Mexico, some of the Mexicans get pretty pissed off, obviously, so they start shooting at the Americans, which, not super happy about it, but I understand the sentiment. I would do the same thing if I were in their shoes. Now, unfortunately for them, the downside of shooting at people is they're probably going to shoot back, assuming they have guns, which America always does. Now, somewhere along the line, Lee's entire unit gets pinned down by these enemy snipers that are up on top of roofs and inside of windows and high buildings, basically shooting at guys lower on the ground, and nobody's able to shoot these guys back, and everybody's just pinned down where they're at. So, Lee, remembering oh shit, I'm the main character with bad eyesight, I got this, grabs his gun and just walks out in the middle of the street corner in broad fucking daylight with no cover whatsoever, and he just sits there with his gun. Sure enough, after a couple of seconds, somebody finally shoots at him, but they miss. And now Lee saw where they're at, and Lee shoots back. And remember, Ching Lee doesn't miss. And then he continues to sit there, and somebody shoots at him, and they miss. And Lee shoots back, and Lee don't miss. And this goes on for a while, pretty much until they quit shooting at Lee, presumably because there was none of them left. When asked about this later in life, the only thing Lee would say was, quote, "Yeah, I think I got a couple of them." Of all the men that were there and actually saw it, many of them had a much less modest version of this story to tell, with some of them claiming as many as 12 men were dispatched by Lee, all the while he was giving them the first chance to shoot at him. Then later during this Veracruz side quest, Lee is also credited again with saving a man's life by running through gunfire to get him and provide medical attention. The man is literally Clint Eastwood, except it's 1914 and he's real.
Well, you're gonna look awfully silly with that knife sticking up your ass. You still here? No.
Now, because of the bravery he displayed at Veracruz, he's put up for promotion by his leadership, and he gets denied because his vision is too bad. And at this point, his entire chain of command is basically writing letters of recommendation, essentially yelling at the entire medical bureaucratic side of the Navy that's denying him that they're insane because this guy's awesome. Seriously, he gets 20 letters of recommendation from high-ranking officers, including the skipper of his current vessel, the USS New Hampshire. And in that letter, he says something along the lines of, "I saw Lee crumple a man from 800 yards with iron sights at Veracruz. He can see just fine." So his promotion gets taken into consideration for an extended period of time, and because of that, he gets taken off sea duty and gets sent basically to the middle of the country, and he is working for the U.S. Navy, going to different factories and figuring out what these factories need to do to be able to better manufacture stuff for the U.S. Navy. During this time, he meets his wife in Oskaloosa, Iowa. Then America enters World War I, and he gets sent over to Europe, although he does not get attached to a combat vessel, so he never actually sees combat. After World War I, Lee would go on to compete in the 1920 Olympics, where he would actually win 7 medals, 5 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze, which would turn out to be the record for the most medals won by any one person at any one Olympic Games, and that record would stand until 1980. Okay, just so we're on the same page, dude just won 5 gold Olympic medals for sharpshooting, and he's having trouble getting promoted because he has bad eyesight. Anyways, for the rest of the 1920s, Lee spends pretty much the entire time working on different destroyers, just working his way up the ranks, becoming a bigger and better leader. Now, about his style of leadership, everybody absolutely loves this guy that works with him because he has this way where he just teaches people what they need to do, and if they're not good at it, he gets them good at it, and then he just lets them do their job. He doesn't try to micromanage them. He's not up everybody's ass. He just wants to get people where they need to be so they have the skills they need so that they can do their job, and then he goes and dicks off so he can go do target practice and build traps to kill rats because that was like his new hobby. That was seriously what he was known for, building elaborate mouse traps on destroyers. He had ones that were like air guns rigged up to trip wires that would shoot rats, which is the most American shit I've ever heard of in my entire life. There was another one that was really popular where he had a little miniature guillotine that he had electrically rigged up to a push button on his desk, and all the boys would sit there and play a game. When the rat would run across it, they would try to hit the button just in time to cut the rat in half. And then, like, whenever there was anything to shoot at from the ship, he had his own private stash of guns in his quarters, and he would run out, and there'd be these, like, glass balls from abandoned fishing nets that would be floating in the ocean, and he'd run out and shoot at them from the deck, and he'd invite the Marines to come out and shoot with him over the PA system, and he was actually out there teaching the Marines how to become better shots. Everybody absolutely loved this guy. So that goes on until about 1930, and then he finally makes his way back onto battleships and heavy cruisers, at which point he gets absolutely obsessed with gunnery. He wants to shoot the big guns better than anybody ever has. He actually ends up writing a paper that later on got published talking about how battleships need to take into consideration the curvature of the Earth when they're gathering targeting data, and he develops the calculations for the battleships to do that. He's literally teaching people how to treat a battleship the way a sniper treats a gun, and it's highly effective. Because after publishing that paper, another battleship commander actually took that data and started implementing it, and his battleship won most accurate ship for the next 3 years in a row, and he said it was all due to Lee's calculations. Okay, if you're not catching on, Lee is actually treating his naval career the same way he treated his academic career. He's not interested in the normal coursework of like leading and micromanaging a bunch of sailors. He wants to get everybody where they need to be. He wants to get through his work as fast as he can so that he can go do stuff that interests him, like pioneering new ways to be accurate with gunnery. Because of this, he develops a reputation as a problem solver. So, late 1930s, they send him over to Washington, D.C., and his orders are basically, get everybody ready for war because we know it's coming. Okay, now this is probably the least coolest but most important part of the entire story. This man essentially got sent to Washington, D.C. to go toe-to-toe against the United States Navy's biggest nemesis, the Bureau of Ordnance.
You bitch, God. You're very helpful, aren't you? You try to help everybody. Do you want to play another game?
Okay, if you don't know, the Bureau of Ordnance is a bureaucratic nightmare that does nothing but slow down and halt any progress the U.S. Navy tries to make at literally anything ever. For example, if you remember like a month ago when I made the USS Parchi video with Lawson Red Ramage, and he was shooting torpedoes at all these Japanese ships, but the torpedoes would hit and then not blow up because they were duds, because it's a known fact that the Mark 14 torpedo fucking sucked, and he complained to the chain of command, and the chain of command told him, too bad, you just suck with torpedoes, the torpedoes are fine. That was the Bureau of Ordnance. So basically, the chain of command has sent Lee to Washington, D.C. to go toe-to-toe with these guys because they know that Lee doesn't have the time or the temperament to put up with their bureaucratic bullshit, and they're absolutely correct because Willis Lee is about to turn into a wood chipper for red tape. So Lee shows up and he starts learning and finding out about all these fancy new toys the Navy has that are just being held up by bureaucratic nonsense. For example, I don't know, fucking radars. Lee, being the forward thinker that he is, he's like, you can put a screen in my office that tells me where the enemy is so that I can shoot them with my big ass guns without even having to see them. Yeah, put that on every fucking ship in the Navy. What's wrong with you? But don't worry, because the Bureau of Ordnance and their infinite fucking wisdom doesn't seem to agree with Lee, and they don't think they're going to be that big of a deal, and they just want to put them on some ships, and they don't want to waste all their money on radars because they're dumb, apparently. But they know Lee's not going to take no for an answer, so they tell Lee that they can't get any more radars due to manufacturing shortages, to which Lee immediately goes, fine, then I'll buy them from Britain. Magically, The Bureau of Ordnance found all the radars he could possibly need. Imagine that. Okay, next order of business, American submarines. Their biggest weakness is having purified water because they can't purify water fast enough for how quickly they consume it, because the crew needs water and the batteries in the submarines at this point in time also eat a ton of water. Luckily, there's a new EVAP system that's going to allow them to have way more purified water, and it's going to be great. Unfortunately, it's held up in bureaucratic red tape. Okay, like they're there. They're done. They've been manufactured. They're ready. But the government wants to run more tests on them, even though everybody in the Navy is like, no, they fucking work. They're just not letting us use them. So Lee just walks in, issues the order to install them, and if anybody has a problem, they can blame him. So Lee's just getting shit done. He's checking things off. Now, at this point in time, whenever you're doing a bunch of paperwork for the Navy, there's like a status box where you hit it with a rubber stamp to tell everybody how important this paper needs to get through the bureaucratic process. Now, there's 3 statuses. There's routine, priority, and urgent. Obviously, in that order, urgent is like, we need to get this done as quickly as possible. Now, everything Lee marked was urgent. He didn't give a shit. He needed his shit done right now because that's just the type of guy he is. But unfortunately, they were still just not getting it done fast enough to his liking. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going to get my own rubber stamp made that said frantic. So then, whenever anybody got Lee's documentation for the first time in their entire naval career, there's a new word stamped there in red ink that sounds more important than urgent. So everybody's just like, oh shit, we're doing this first. And then Lee just uses this to keep on powering through to get more and more shit done. Next thing is to get a schoolhouse stood up for the U.S. Navy that teaches sailors how to read aerial reconnaissance pictures, because that's going to be huge in an upcoming war, because they're going to need pictures to show where all the reefs and all the atolls are, and they're going to have to be able to read those pictures accurately to get proper intel. So at first, the chain of command is like, okay, well, we'll get Hollywood involved. They know things about like cameras and shit. That's the right answer, right? And Lee and a couple of other officers that actually have good ideas are like, no, why don't we just go over to Britain and ask them to help us? We'll send a couple of guys over, get them trained by them, because they already do this really well, and we're on the same team. It would be great. Why wouldn't you do that? We can share information with them and vice versa, and we all get better together. Hooray. At which point the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory is like, no, absolutely not, because the United States Navy is way better than the British Navy, and we know that because we conducted a study that we verified ourselves. Yeah. Okay, now in hindsight, I think we can all agree that's dumb, and that is why Lee ended up sending a guy over there anyways for any bullshit.
All right. I'll stop it right there because, just wanted to kind of check out some of the story. But yeah, you can see where it's quite interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah. He
It sounds like a little much, some of it, but
well, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is was written in a book, an autobiography. So
it's kind of neat
guess
how
you
he
gotta-
applied his sniper or his gun.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like this was all like a lot of. He's not the only one. Like in like World War II, especially, like there was a lot of guys doing different shit like this just to get shit done because there's this huge bureaucracy that is just holding all them back. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I think the stories are quite. I think they're true, and I think that it makes sense to me that a lot of them, aren't fabricated. But it's this isn't the only guy that's cheated on an eye test that turned out to be really good at at his job. So
I've cheated
yeah.
the eye test twice.
What's that?
I cheated the eye test twice.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was it for?
The last time I got lucky because we had masks, and I got to use it for an excuse that it was fogging up. And then when I was changing it up, I took my other eye and shifted it over to the other spot and pushed down and memorized it. And said it.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't see. I don't know, on some weird angle out of one eye. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, man. There was one guy, he said he cheated an eye test. It was one of these stories where like says left eye is bad, his right eye is good. So when they checked his right eye, he's like, cool. And so then he's like, okay, so he said, now cover your other eye. And he just basically just covered the same eye and read it again. It was cool. Yeah. So like they didn't even catch on to that. I guess they just do thousands and thousands of eye tests. So, it's just like whatever, just going through the motions, not really paying attention. And people cheat those things a lot, it appears. But Yeah, man.
Did
What
you
we
see the
should do?
video
Which one?
I left of Afro Man? Did you see that music video?
Oh, yes.
That's freaking
Yes, I
hilarious,
did.
right?
Oh, that was hilarious. Dude, I sent that to like everybody.
Yeah.
I sent that
It's
out to
pretty epic that
every
Afro Man did
freaking.
it.
Oh man, I
And it's
know.
like a parody of his own song. Damn.
Yeah, that was actually really good. I wish I could play some of it, but I
Okay,
know that's
well,
gonna be
maybe.
copyrighted hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that. I mean, I'm sure I got some copyrights right now, but yeah, the Afro Man stuff will totally be copyrighted. But yeah, that was a good link, man. I did. That was a share.
I guess for the audience, we can say Afro Man did a song
Mhm.
of Hunter got high. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's
Hunter
correct.
got
It's
high.
yeah. So instead of what
'Cause I
how's
got high.
the and yeah, because I got high. Now it's is it Hunter got high?
Yeah. Hunter
Yeah,
got
is it,
high.
right?
Hunter
Hunter
got
got
high.
high.
I don't. I
Yeah.
can't remember much of it, but it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Hold on.
I
I'll
think the
see.
laptop bits in it.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. And it's
Yeah, let me
hilarious how it's
see.
like sort of mainstream. It's Afro Man, and he was willing to use the
Right.
song for that. It's pretty crazy.
Did you put that in the crew? I think you did a crew on that one.
Yeah, it's up a little ways.
Is it? Okay.
You know what I thought too? You know who should do a parody of their own song for comic purpose, which the original's kind of comic is $1 Million, the Bare Naked Ladies. If I had $1 million, they should do If I Had $1 Million and how they wouldn't be rich and how everything costs so damn much.
Right. Right. Here's the I'll play part of it here.
Hey, yo, Hunter. Roll up another one of them congressional blunts, brother.
Congressional blunts. That's funny. Yeah, and anyway, he just goes through the whole thing with
Jump
Hunter
ahead
Biden.
and then hear a sentence in it instead of the beginning. The beginning's always a bad spot to play anyway.
He wasn't gonna mess with the hoes, but Hunter got high. He was gonna take them all out on the boat, but Hunter got high.
You can see where this is gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good, man. Like I said, I totally shared this one because it's already a classic. Let's see how many views. We're talking about 1.8 million views in just 2 weeks. So yeah. How could 1,400 people hate this song?
What? How do they have thumbs down? I thought they didn't do that anymore.
Oh no. I got the little thing that you can
Oh, I see. Yeah, not really anyone's doing it though. In that case,
Yeah, I
what
mean, you
really
can.
bothers, right?
Well, I'm saying, it just shows the real numbers. I mean, like, so if people do thumbs it down, it just counts it on
I'll
my.
show you.
Yeah,
Right.
it'll show me. Yeah, so it's pretty good shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you haven't heard this song, it's it's a good one. All right, man. Well, let's see. It is 3:30. Yeah, we'll call it because it's good enough. It's late enough, and doggone it, it's time to go. Let me see who's here. 1 second. We have Andrew Tone, Sin Gigan, Grand Tour Richard, Joe Bloor, Guardian Matrix, Kimberly Frederick, Digital Arts. We have Claire 74, Cricket, Northern Lass Ellie. I think that's right. Okay, cool. Claire is also with us. The Claire. Ken Ross. Wow, you guys are sticking it out with me. Thank you. I appreciate it, y'all. Here's we got 62 watching tonight. About typical for a nice Friday night. Thank you all for being a part of this one. We'll be back next week, and like I said, we'll just kick it around and see who's here. I don't know if Fizzy will join us. I'm thinking she'll be back, and we'll send Suso an invite. I know Suso's probably pissed that I didn't invite him on tonight, but man, I just I had a format. Okay, I had a format. I'm rolling with it. Noble joined me, so we're just gonna, just the boys are gonna hang out tonight. Just, three's a crowd, man. I'm sorry. I just, maybe I'll get you on next week, brother. I promise. Anyway, man, thanks you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for being a part of this one, and we'll see you back here real soon. You guys take care and have a good night.